and your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only...
But why?
22 million in 3 fucking hours!
There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not.
Neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. Why?
What's your dream? To go away.
To go away. That's right.
Do you guys want to drink? I don't understand why everybody has to be so judgmental. I understand why mom's judgmental. I think it's because she cares partially. I think it's also partially because everyone else is looking at her like, hey, Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
Man, let's go, baby.
Boom, 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 boom. Boys, we're back. Wednesday, midweek with another banger stream. And guess what, boys? I got the hoodie on today.
Why you got the hood on today, bro?
You can't see it, but I got the hoodie on today. And if you know what, I'll show you guys exactly why I got the hoodie on.
Okay.
I'll show you guys exactly why I got the hoodie on.
If you know, you know.
Guys, yeah, if you're in the Discord, you already know. If you're in the Discord, you already know. And we already capped it, by the way. We capped the Discord. Sorry, not sorry.
You missed it. Sorry about it. Should have been quicker. We had it open for like a week or two.
Nah, it's been a month, bro. It's been a full month. Yeah, like and RobinHood was the first thing we talked about in the Discord. Not a month. I'm capped. The 18th was June 18th was the first day. But I'll show you why I got the hoodie on. Here's why.
Talk to me nice, bro.
Look at this, man. Look at this, man.
Sheesh. You
got GME. Call GME in the Discord at 120. It went to 8 mil. 120K market cap went to 8 mil.
Did you just scan this today?
Cat. Yeah. No. Me and Rando in the Discord, we scanned this last week. Like,
no,
bro,
are these freshly updated? Or this picture?
Oh yeah. This was a scan from I scanned this morning. I screenshotted this from a scan this morning. So look, I mean, we've been cooking. We've been cooking on RobinHood.
That entire leaderboard is just, I mean, you got Anthem and then all All RobinHood on there. Holy cow.
It's all me and Rando right now, just cooling. Even Josh called a nice little almost 10x down there. But yeah, boys, that's why I'm wearing the hoodie. That's why the hoodie's on right now. You probably see it all over your timeline. Yeah, hoodie season. You see it, and you probably see this all over your timeline at the end of the day. RobinHood has been picking up a lot of steam. A lot of people have been excited about what's going on over there. But if you guys have been watching MCG, this comes as no surprise. This comes as no surprise. In fact, let's look back at our Discord, back to the very first post, here in Discord, back on June 18th. I told you guys about the RobinHood L2. I told you guys about how to bridge the charts, the tokens. I told you guys about how the second highest market cap is 400K. Highest market cap was a mil. So look, I told you guys about it, all of this in the Discord, and a lot of people have been wondering, is this going to be like the plasma? Like the plasma sort of wave? Is it going to be like the BNB explosion? Is it just like a fad that pops up and then just dies?
I don't know, man. I'm taking the pill a little bit, chill, because I'm seeing people drip, like just seeing the numbers that get thrown. You guys know I'm a RobinHood bull. If you guys watch the show, Dinero Dom is a RobinHood bull through and through, for like the Hood product and what they're doing to democratize access, and it's blowing up as a retail app for traders, whatever. But the numbers they talk about, right? When they compare it to something like Coinbase, we see the success of Base, right? And then you compare Robinhood to Coinbase, and it just dwarfs it in terms of numbers, users, volume. That's when it starts to go like bouncing around in my think tank here in my head. And I'm like, wait a minute, this could be something. And Vlad, by the way, is a goat.
Yeah, he, and honestly, that's kind of what I talk about in this tweet. Let me run through the facts with you guys. Robinhood is 2x larger than Coinbase in terms of company size. Robinhood active user base is 3x larger than Coinbase. Robinhood's growth in Q1 of 2026 was plus 15%. Coinbase, they were down 30% in Q1 this year. Robinhood also has the youngest demographic, and that's not just versus Coinbase, by the way. I didn't put that in the post. I should have, but that's versus all competitors. They have the youngest demographic, and so they have basically a chokehold on the retail crowd. And so when you combine all of this, and this is the important part, crypto has a trust issue. Like no one trusts the space. No, everyone looks at crypto, thinks it's a scam. But what happens when you're the most trusted brand? You go to Robinhood for stocks, for options. You trade a little bit of crypto, but when you see Robinhood dive fully into crypto with an L2, and who knows, they might not even understand all of the under the hood stuff. But if a trusted company or a trusted brand enters a space, it's very likely that young user base that they have will follow.
Can I even butt in here real quick too? Like, we saw the early semblance of this when they started to put private equity on chain. Like when Robinhood started offering these private companies on their platform, it was blockchain on the back end acting as the infrastructure to access this, right? And so this was on Arbitrum. So again, like if you've been following Robinhood at all and you understand who Vlad is and the type of innovator and how he pushes the boundaries, they were dipping their feet in the water with crypto. Like this isn't really surprising when you think about it. So keep going.
Yeah, literally, it's not surprising at all. And when you look at the numbers, this is a chart from Adam Tech. If you guys know Adam Tech, he does a lot of these Dune dashboards, and I'll actually link his Dune dashboard here. But I got this from the Dune dashboard showing the volumes. This is only week one. They literally just announced the launch of their chain just about a week ago. This is literally week one. So people ask me, is this done? They ask me, is it finished? Is this just one leg? I'm telling you, no. I'm telling you, we still have more to go. I'm telling you that this could be bigger than Base.
Sheesh.
And that's not based on pure speculation. Their company and their growth metrics are much larger than what Base is doing right now. And so that's why I'm really excited about Robinhood Chain. And I'll likely be like, as far as meme coin trading goes, I'll likely be staying there for a long time and probably looking to see if there's any other trends that pop up.
Your Robinhood Quant has arrived, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on.
By the way, we even talked about yesterday the first utility project launched via virtuals on Robinhood. We call it like
that went to 2 mil.
Dude,
I went to 2 mil plus.
It's just anything's catching a bid right now. The narrative is here. It was tough to bridge. You're still getting the late bridgers coming over and bidding things up. If you have anything, even if it's dog shit, frankly, with a narrative behind it, it's probably going to go on a little run. Now, I would say yesterday, the day before was probably the obviously better days to do it, but opportunities, man. This is all we want. This is all we ask for. We used to pray for times like this.
Come on now. Now we have our first interview. Base. Wait, hold on. Yeah. Base is cooked. They had multiple opportunities over the past several years to embrace memes and support real builders. They fumbled hard. Jesse and team are out of touch. Absolutely, and that's what I love about Vlad. And I even mentioned that here at the end of the tweet where I said, you're seeing the Robinhood CEO engage with the community. He followed Cash Cat. And so he's kind of like taking a page from Tolly's book, right? When you see some of these big names in the space, Tolly or whoever, Ansem or whoever, they follow things, they call things, they like things. People buy and speculate based on that. So why did Cash Cat go to 130 mil yesterday? It was because Vlad followed the account as well as someone else from the Robinhood team. So I really like that what he's doing. I like that he's taking that approach versus the base approach and like ignoring everything, because last week he was like, hey, look, memes aren't the way, but now he's completely changed his tune. So
look, I changed my tune too if it brought $200 million of volume onto my platform.
Yo, fact. The degens are free. I always say that. The degens are free. They will go.
Lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah, the degens are free, man, and they drive real volume. They bring real growth, and I'm sure that's positive for Robinhood.
Jill, so I hate to snub out your party here. We have our next guest up. Do we want to do some housekeeping and give a quick run of show?
Yeah, that's literally what I was just about to do. So,
read my mind,
guys. We have our first interview coming up here. And that'll be JTVO. So we got Luca in the back. He'll be coming on here in a moment. But before we get the first interview started, housekeeping. It's 150 of us in here. So let's go ahead and get it started. Go to @MCG Live, and you're going to do two things. Very simple. Number one, make sure you're following the account. We're here 12 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday, bringing you the best and the most up-to-date on-chain actionable insights.
Yo, and peep something special, a little different. Y'all been following.
12K. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Usually I'd say link in bio for the Discord, but for now it's locked. Second thing would be go to our pin tweet. Just scroll down, go to the pin tweet, and I want you to do two things on this pin tweet. Just hit like and hit retweet. That's it. Maybe even go down to this next tweet here and boom, retweet that too. But
what was that?
We're getting this was about our Robinhood full thesis breakdown and Cash Cat coverage.
If you would have done it yesterday, the day before, the weeks,
bro, look at this.
You'd be like Chill. You'd be retiring like Chill. We're lucky to have Chill because he might retire after this week from this Robinhood shit.
Man, Cash Cat was at 330K during this video. And we're at 130 mil. You're welcome.
Sick.
Come on, bro.
It's sick.
Talk to me. All right. That's it for the gloating. We appreciate the love, guys. Thanks so much for 12K. Today, we have JTVO up first. So we'll be bringing up Luca here in a moment. Then we have BV7X coming up next. And as you guys know, I really love Clash of Perps. So we'll be bringing up Clash of Perps as well later on in the show. Afterward, we'll kind of run through some on-chain stuff. If you guys want to, run through the Robinhood eco and stuff like that, we can definitely do that after the interviews today. But Dom, I'll let you go ahead and tee it up for the boy Luca, the homie.
Thank you, my brother. 5 minutes behind, so we appreciate Luca sitting in the waiting room here. Before I bring him up, we got to give you the lore on this. We have had Luca on the show before. We've been in close relationship with Luca for a long time now. He was building early days of ICM. In the early days, he had all these different products he was spinning up. He was doing, private servers, enterprise like solutions, integrations. He was doing all sorts of stuff. It was a bit overwhelming. It was hard to really detail exactly and pin down exactly what the main offering was. And I think that's where a lot of people got lost in the sauce. They've really found their stride recently. We've seen retweets and pushing from Game and other big KOL. Shout out the gang over there. And they've started to become a really highly used model on things like Surplus. I think their Surplus is #1 model on there, behind just like some other stuff, nonetheless. But it's really up there. It's high. So they're doing well. They're getting a lot of attention. The market's been ripping. So we're gonna have Luca back on today after some exciting updates. Some things have changed. The ball's rolling. They found that product market fit, which is like what they were hunting for. So this is a really cool conversation to kind of see the life cycle that's happened for Luca, one of the few who stuck through from the early Believe ICM day. So he's got some more builder in the space for a long time. Man, I could talk about him all day, but why not just let him talk for himself? Luca, we are excited to speak again. Welcome to MCG.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing me on again. Yeah.
Dude,
welcome.
Man, I gotta say, you heard the pre-show the little rant on you, but truly impressive what you've done. Someone that we've, you and I and the team have talked for a long time, and like we saw your work ethic, we saw how fast you shipped, how hard you worked, and it was only a matter of time before you found product market fit, and it seems like you really have in a big way. Can you do us a favor for those that are unfamiliar with yourself and JTVO, because this is I think new to a lot of people? Let's start at the top. Can you introduce yourself for us?
Right. So I'm Luca. My business is running in Hong Kong and Jakarta, especially I live in Jakarta. So my background is not really IT, but I learned myself from since last year and launching the GTVO in early days of ICM, and I got pretty amount of money to start my businesses back in June 2025. But yeah, the problem with ICM and me myself also about the integration, the utility of the token. So what's the benefit of the token when your community or people holding your tokens? That's maybe needs me for maybe more than 10 months to get the product market fit, and also how we incentivize the holders. Like now people just know or heard about the inference when I deployed the project last year. I'm talking about decentralized inference in the early ICM, but no people heard about it. And then in early 2026, a Venice or VVV token is going up, and people just realize what is inference, what is the real token cost, what is the AI models, open source models like that. So the initial phase of JTVO, we are always bringing about the centralization, the open source model, but somehow we really care about the US markets. They really aware about the security, so they don't really want to touch the DeepSeek. They don't really want to touch the GLM that's not hosted in United States. So when in May 2026, I tried to how to utilize and improve the CATS mechanism of the load balancer of the code GPT 5.5 and its families. I can get optimization, and let's say in the last 30 days, we spent maybe $5,000 of APIs worth of the GPT 5.5 and its families, and all being used by the JTVO token holders.
That's amazing. And where does how do you guys subsidize that? Do you guys have your own, data center? I remember when we talked earlier, you kind of had a grant for that.
All right. So when we try to incentivize the data center on the compute power, is indeed there is a B2B agreement with the providers, let's say the Tencent, Alibaba, or maybe Byte Plus from the ByteDance. So even when you use TikTok, they are owned by the ByteDance company or Douyin in the China, and they actually have their own model. They have GPUs, they have a lot of compute power, and maybe there is a several like idle compute power and they not being used there, and there is like a subsidized lot. But somehow when you tweak some routes or maybe you make it more efficient, there is a gap that you can filling in. So this is talking about the combination of the subsidies, combination about the utilization of the idle compute power, and indeed about the tech behind. So let's say people may be skeptic in the early how JTVO can subsidize. Maybe it's using only trading fees, maybe only, you know that when the token being traded, I get several money, I can use it for subsidies. Maybe a lot of people speculate, hey, it will not sustain, but yeah, we survive for the last 30 days or maybe almost 2 months about it. And yeah, I know several people trying to put the JT4 inference into surplus, and they earn money from that. And it's on purpose that I will not put my own account or my API key in the surplus. I just let token holder to just put in there, so the price it will be equilibrium. In the initial days, they put a 60% discount, 50% discount, and in the end until 99% discount.
So talk to me. You said people have, I guess, feedback on how is this sustainable. Right now, it seems like you're using the fees to, I guess, sustain some of this usage. Is there other ways you're thinking about expanding this, taking maybe fees and building out some sort of mini data center?
Yeah. So in fact, I only incentivize less than 10% from the fees. Less than 10% of the part of the fees. Most of the fees I use it for really development of the company. So my big failure, or not really failure, like the wrong thing that I did is use the fees for token buyback, right? So we spent like more than 100K for the token buyback, and there is no really beneficial for both of the token holder or myself. So I use a lot more 90% of the money for the company itself, for the growth, hiring team, adding several compute power, trying to get B2B partnership with the, say, Tencent or the just today I have like a partnership with the Byte Plus for the ByteDance or the TikTok company. They really indeed have the idle compute power, because let's say you want to expand to some countries or some regions, and the uses of that country is not really big, let's say in Korea or in Japan or in Southeast Asia in general. So that's kind of the compute that I try to engage. Hey, I can give you a free token like 1 billion per day, 2 billion per day. Just make sure you are using us like that. And they are targeting not only, let's say I live in Jakarta in Indonesia. The user in Indonesia is not really big, and they don't really trust with the businessman or the entrepreneur or the startup founder that sell this inference into small enterprise. They don't really, there is no buying power for the small enterprise. I want a founder that think and sell it global. So that's the maybe the recipe, so I can get a lot of subsidies or the partnership with within behind.
Interesting approach there. Go ahead, Jill.
I got two questions. The first, if you were to summarize what JTVO is in its current form, like how would you summarize like what you're doing right now?
Right. So it is like open router, or maybe just a marketplace of the all of the models. So, but I really create the inference. Let's say there is Xiaomi Mimo models, a lot of Chinese models. People put it for free, but that's really scary when you use the direct Chinese models and you don't know where is the inference come from. They can capture your prompt. They really can capture your prompt, and they sell it to the Chinese labs. Maybe there is a several discussion in the Reddit about it, and they were trying to correct very trying to clear carefully. So the product is just using one API key. You can get several AI models, but right now I'm focusing on GPT first, because yeah, indeed it's getting better and better, and it's getting better than some maybe Cloud Opus, and several people telling that using ChatGPT in the codec is better like that. So currently we focus on that, but later a lot of model will be available. GLM 5.2, NVIDIA Nemotron, maybe Kimi
Got it.
7, and as a lot of inference provider like Cerebras.
Got it. So you're basically using one API to kind of route workloads to individual models. Am I getting that correct?
Yeah. It will be more than 10 models, but right now, maybe one API key you can use 8 models. I mean 8 LLM models, not just GPT. There is GLM 5.2, but I'm not yet released yet, because I try to stress test with my GPUs, and it costs me more than 900 per day. Let's say it is
Gotcha.
running inference is like mining crypto. It is like mining crypto. When you want to mine Ethereum or Ethereum Classic, you choose your correct devices, and maybe NVIDIA S200, NVIDIA B300. That's kind of the efficiency from the watt of the power compared with the token per second or the token output. So this is kind of tricky of the AI engineering behind. And yeah, in that way, we try to serve how we try to comply, or we offer this to the customer that, hey, we don't really capture your data. There is a zero data retention like that. So that's the
Got it.
hardest part behind.
Got it. So you have this. So you're giving access to your API rather is giving access to these different models. You're going to provide more models in the future. Give me a sense of like what's your usage like right now? How many users do you have? Is this more for your average everyday person? Is this geared toward more so developers? Who's using your product and how much are they using it?
So I don't really track them. So it is, and I should be tracked where is the usage come from, what apps they build, what route they use, maybe Surplus or NES. But yeah, since we are in crypto, I try to not capture that hidden or that information. So I don't really know where is it come from, but I bet a lot of people using it for coding agents. Like you put it in the open code or maybe Slime or maybe Z or any coding agents that you can put a custom provider. So let's say the open code, you can put a custom provider. You just put the JTFO endpoints, and you can use GPT 5.5 in there. So for the Web 2, let's say Web 2 in the normal business, I indeed capture where is the inference come from. But for the JTFO token, there is no information that I capture. So I'm trying to be how we make a privacy matter here.
Got it. I guess another question I had was, you mentioned that so you're using 90% of the fees to grow the business. You're using 10 to kind of like support like cost of inference. Tell us about the 90% and what that's going to specifically that would help you to kind of grow out your business. I know you mentioned there's, other costs involved, like, development teams, there's inference when it comes to stress testing for new models that you'll add to the API. So what are all those funds going to?
All right. So most of them, maybe 40% is going to purchase the GPUs, and it's like an investment. So last year, I told you that we invested in RTX Pro 6000. It cost us $8,000, and right now the cost of one GPU is $12,000. 12K US dollar. It's increased 50%. So it's kind of mind blowing. You know that MacBook the price is increasing. That's the from the end user perspective, but from the entrepreneur or startup founder, for me, that's kind of influences a bit investment. And I add up several instances or several GPUs, including the DGX Spark. So that's tiny computer, supercomputer of the DGX Spark is being used for our narrative about the sovereign AI. So companies don't, in the end, they will not use the inference like from the OpenAI or maybe for Cloud Anthropic. It's very, very costly. And when they have already deterministic workflows, let's say not for the development, not for the making coding, but when the production are ready, they use API, they will buy the infrastructure in their office so it can run internally. So that's my goals in the future for all the companies. Like I will focus in Asia Pacific, also on global, but I bet to purchase the infrastructure more than 40%, and renting a new office in Jakarta right now. Also, we will open in Singapore, and actually, unfortunately, we just got invest when I post that we open an office in Jakarta, just a new office. There is a several angel and VCs comes in, and we got a several equity purchase from the several angel and VCs.
Got you. I know Dom wanted to jump in here, and I see. I think there's a point that you wanted to hop on this. Go ahead, Dom.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, super cool to see that you opened this office and you had interest from angels and VCs. I want to talk about the business model right now, because you mentioned 10% of fees that are coming from the token are going towards subsidizing compute, and that's been very successful for you. The remaining goes to the business. what kind of business model do you run outside of the compute that you provide that you're generating revenue from?
Right. So our main B2B for the Web 2 is mostly come from the enterprise. Let's say, have you ever heard about the SAP or Accenture, like the ERP things for the supply chain about the SAP, or the stocks is maybe ever SAP or CRM for the
Okay.
stocks in the US. It's kind of like how you make agentic things in the corporate or the supply chain company. That's very expensive, and I try to make a cheaper version of that because it's token incentive. Token very a lot of uses of the token. So let's say our infrastructure already this we already have our token factory. So the goal is to make the token factory. When I have my own token factory, I can build any apps, any solution to the enterprise, and this kind of solution is like the flywheel of the token or the infrastructure itself. So I need to get another product market fit that companies will use this software and will it consume a lot of the token from my inference itself.
Got you. Let's kind of circle back to the VC angel conversation here. You opened this new office. You have some interest from VCs and angels. What do those conversations look like? Can you maybe just give us some more insight? Is there,
So
we've also, and not to interrupt here, but we've also been seeing this big discussion between token and equity and how it's, there shouldn't be equity and a token. It should just be one, either token or equity. So curious to hear your thoughts on some of that and what the conversations look like.
I will not disclose about the information about it, but there is a bit a correlation. But yeah, this is open market, so yeah, so for all people buying it directly, or I really invite some holders. Hey, let's meet in Singapore if you want to get the equity, I'd say. But the reason that I got angel or VCs is not just the money, but the connection, the market share. Let's say you want to sell to enterprise or companies, let's say in United States, in several states, you need to get the people that really know about the network to open the door. So the goal is how I can expand to the Middle East. So I need venture capitalists that has a good connection with the Saudi Arabia, United Emirates Arab, like for the K people. So that's why I accept the venture capital money, and it's really for the equity itself. But for the token is I try to learn from the dragonfly for people that invest into VVV. Yeah, indeed they want to invest in the equity because of the token itself, and there is a correlation. But I will really carefully to answer or to open up the things later. But I indeed get several people that trying to OTC, or maybe I am too tired to DCAing your token. So there's a lot of like the long-term holder of JTFO. So maybe I can say the benefit for the existing token holder is there is the demand of the token for very long-term investor like that.
I want to even talk a bit about the inference markets in general, right? This seems like something that just popped up recently. Everyone's getting it's getting so much attention. Of course, you've been building in this vertical for a long time now, so you're deeply familiar with it. Maybe just talk us through like the direction we're headed for inference. And I think this is important to really understand how you guys are positioning for that future that you envision. So if you wouldn't mind, kind of just walk me through the direction and angle that you guys are taking on this inference market that's just growing so fast.
Yes. So I was attending the NVIDIA GTC 2026 in Taiwan, in Taipei, when Jensen Huang they talking about the price of per megawatt of the inference, and they are talking about the Dell and maybe Marvell or any companies, CoreWave, Nebius, and any inference. Yes, indeed. Maybe you ever heard about that. Your codec subscription or ChatGPT Plus subscription, $200. It is worth $14K US if you use in APIs. For the Cloud Anthropic, $200, it's maybe worth 8K thousands. We are being subsidized intensively. They are giving you a lot of subsidies, but we don't really know next year, on the next 2 years, maybe. And China, just today, they're trying to ban or maybe close the gap, close the valve to export the model. So maybe in the future we will not get the GLM version anymore for the open source model. So it being scarce, but the usage itself, I think, since I'm also working for the enterprise, the security layer is very hard. So the adoption of the enterprise inference is very lacking right now. Maybe for the developers, it's huge demand, but for the enterprise, it needs really very secure or very careful implementation. So that's why I guess if you see the inference in general of the companies like CoreWave of Nebius is down a lot in the last several days. If you see the CoreWave is right now, I think traded around $80. That's several weeks. It's 160, and this is really a big debt because let's say I can tell you that $900 of the GLM 5.2, if I host it, it costs 3 million US dollar of the capex. I need to invest 3 million or I rent it for $900 to serve you the GLM 5.2, and you need to use it. I need to enough demand and enough people to pay that inference so I can break even as a renter. But yeah, indeed, for the future, the inference is more efficient. It's like ASICs or crypto mining. So I think in the future it's very good when the enterprise comes up with the usage. Now that's that I want to being vertically. I will produce a lot of product for the enterprise, and they will use maybe still incentivized with the cloud and codecs, but hey, we also have the tokens and it localized in the country, in Australia, in Indonesia, Malaysia, and so on. So your data will comply with your local regulation. That's my thesis for the next 2 until 3 years from now.
So I want to talk a bit about partnerships as well. And we're gearing towards a wrap up here, but I want to talk about this ByteDance partnership. You know, you've kind of briefly touched on it, but I want to dig into it. You know, what are you guys doing right now to grow the business, expand it? I think ByteDance is obviously one of those answers, but curious to hear more on what that partnership looks like.
Yeah, it is Byte Plus, not real ByteDance, but it's the same company. So it's in China. They have a model. It's called Longcat. It's pretty new, but their ecosystem is very mature. So they have the apps, they have the several software that being used their model. So they asked us, hey, can you use our model so to promote the models? Especially it is actually in need with the same capabilities with Opus 4.7. It's called a Seed Dream. I think it's Seed Dream Pro, and it's pretty good for the agentic. And yeah, they give us GPUs, literally GPUs. They give us the tokens and like almost unlimited token. So they want me as the startup founder on the product that, hey, please bring us a customer, but I don't want you like localized in Indonesia. So we need a global customer. Like we are in Indonesia or the Southeast Asia, and there is a budget for that region, but there is no really founder that can absorb that compute power. So that's actually it. Either for the image or video generation, for the LLMs and the GPUs or virtual machine or the cloud itself.
Got you. Okay, thanks for that answer. Yeah, I guess the next question I would want to ask is like, how do you guys stack up to other inference platforms? And I ask this because, again, a few months ago, no one was doing this. Now all of a sudden, I'm seeing people pop up left and right offering, you know, decentralized inference, having platforms that you know you can sell your compute on, XS compute or whatever. And it's really hard to determine which one is like the most investable or the best trade. And so I kind of want to bring this question to you in terms of like numbers, in terms of offerings. How do you stack up compared to competitors in this space?
All right. So because there is several token project about the decentralized things on the like a P2P of the inference. So this is a bit tricky. How you make a people or developer or the enterprise convinced to use the small models? When we're talking about the decentralization and we use the community idle compute power, you need to know the models that really can be being used for the agentic things. Let's say when I have a DGX Spark or maybe RTX 5090, I can run maybe Gamma for 31 billion parameters. It's a good things for the agentics, the models. So we can't put the random devices. I can't put like a MacBook. You running a node of the table. It can't. It really cannot. For the chatbot, it's okay. But for the agentic things, you need a really very specific models, and you need to convince the users that hey, this model is pretty enough. Like I use the that 31 billion parameters in my Hermes agent, and it's pretty good and it's fast like that. So it's being like this one of the compute idle power GPUs, you can serve unlimited token for several people. Let's say you ran off the one GDX Spark, and you can get the unlimited token for maybe $1 or $2 per day, like that, and you can earn money from if I can match you with the demand.
So there are really two layers to it. There's the compute side, which is what kind of GPU, what kind of processor do you have in your computer that's idle, and then is that inference that it produces valuable for anybody that wants to sell it? And you kind of are doing some of the work of pairing the two, where it's like, okay, we can only accept some of these different compute models, right? And that will be valuable inference for these specific reasons. Are you guys going on the back end and taking that compute and pairing it up with, I guess, the correct output, or how does that work?
All right. So it is like a honest answer. I will not selling like a sweet and soft the about this decentralization. So the recipe or the key, I think about the demand. So we need literally standby buyer. It's like a staking Solana or staking maybe USDT. When you don't have the people that borrowing it, is being in a pool and it's maybe still idle. So next, I need to make sure I have a community. I have like people that really want to pay for it. So that's how the decentralized really working. And I really confident that our token consumption is pretty huge. Our community is standby. I have like a WhatsApp group. This Discord is now, Telegram and WhatsApp right now, and they really they have a several purchase power to get the inference, but not as much as really as like using cloud or codex. So there is a sweet point that people want to spend $1 per day for the private inference from the community. That's amount. I think $1 or $2 per day per person is doable right now.
Got you. We have to start gearing towards the wrap up here, but I want to ask about this. You know, you have these really good metrics, and I have this tweet pulled up here where you say, in the last 2 weeks, we processed more than 20 billion GPT 5.5 tokens through JTVO inference. A wallet holding $2,000 worth of JTVO, eligible for 2,000 API requests, spend more than $5,000 on GPT 5.5 API requests. We are actively increasing nodes to improve performance and lowering the latency. I guess my question becomes, okay, you guys are offering, you know, subsidized compute. People are taking it, maybe selling it on surplus. You've become a core power user of surplus in that sense. But how do you convert this to profit in the business? Can you maybe walk me through the strategy there?
Right. So apparently, like Alibaba, Tencent, or any companies in China, they also selling something like me. It literally they sell it for 70% discount. Like when you purchase $3, I can give you $10 credit like that. That's the real business models. I do B2B for the several companies, and I'm not disclosing it. I mean, the companies, the user, for the B2B, I'm not disclosing it, but that's how I sell. Like, let's say you want a $100 of the GPT 5.5 usage, you need to pay me $30 like that.
Makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about roadmap here and what you guys are, you know, looking forward to, what you have coming up here. We do have to wrap shortly, but Luca, what's number one on the roadmap that you're focused on internally as a team and excited to push out to the people?
Yeah. This month, we are actively building the team. So this is really like trying to, for a solo founder to, and delegates to the several people. We actively engage with the enterprise and the clients to make the solution of the AI solution. So it is pretty the same that something that's very scattered, very random. We make a lot of product, but we have a several pipelines that this product will very rely on our inference when the enterprise using it. So that's our roadmap. Maybe in the next 6 months, we're building a lot of product. Let's say for the HR, I mean like SR system, maybe for the financial system, that let's say you want to process your text documents, and you can't really upload it to ChatGPT and Cloud. So that's you need to use our local inference and our software about it. So that's our in the roadmap. But I also want to expand to the Australia, and it is pretty interesting that they think they thought that DeepSeek is always belong to China. So they don't really know about the local inference. So I think that's a big gap that I can fill in. Also in Singapore, the government giving the subsidies for the company that implement AI. So there is a liquidity in Singapore. So I try to expand while I'm trying to prepare my team to delegate some tasks and the product. And for me myself, I still trying to engage with direct selling. Let's say this today I still awake since 6 a.m. to have several meetings, and right now it's more than 11 p.m. at Jakarta. So yeah, I try to being healthy to get more and more leads, to get more clients.
Very good. We have one question from Crypto Jones here before you jump here. Partnerships or integrations? We touched on this a little bit. Also, who is your biggest competitor in the space? If you had to answer those two questions on cool partnerships or integrations and your competitors, that'd be great.
So I thought people know my recipe, how I can sell the GPT 5.5 pretty cheap. But apparently there is the several 2 months there is no competitor yet. So it's a bit surprising for me. So indeed, so my back end or my tech is pretty good enough. So people don't know how to replicate it, don't know how to get the B2B partnership. That's the mode. And maybe the competitor right now, maybe in Bex, I think you know there is the Bex app always tweeting about the inference, but I don't want really compete. I mean, I don't want to put a random Chinese model, because when you use that Chinese models and it's free, it's always red flag. It's always red flag that maybe they can capture your tokens or maybe capture your prompts. That's why I always try to get a partner from the Singapore at least, or United States like a Cerebras. Yeah, I have a B2B deal with the Cerebras to host the several models. Like last year, Cerebras that just IPOs in the United States. Last year, I really signed with the CPO of the Cerebras to go to market for this. So I really very carefully to use the models. So right now, if you ask the competitor that I see is that P0, I think. I also saw the token is when sub 300k. I also purchased a small amount, and it's pretty good. The attention people knows about in the inference, people knows about the computing power, and the transit is not really. I mean, the transit is getting smarter and smarter. They don't just invest to speculate, but they really buy and try the tech. That's different with last year, Dom.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing an evolution of the trenches here. Luca, we appreciate you coming on. Congratulations on the success. Again, like it feels like you've really grown so much since the first time we spoke months and months ago. So we appreciate you coming on, and we're excited to see you continue to grow.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Peace.
Thanks, Luca.
All right. There we have it.
Okay.
We'll have
Takeaways?
to save takeaways, or we'll do them real
okay.
quick,
We'll save. Let's jump, because we've had Misha in the back waiting for a little bit. So maybe we just fully transition and we'll save the takeaways for later.
BV7X, one we've had on the show before, we got Misha coming on again to chat with it. Again, what's going on Base is a lot of experimentation, a lot of agentic experimentation specifically, and BV7X is doing a lot of this. Of course, they have agents competing to solve solutions, competition, to decide all these different things. Again, it's something we've explored. We're starting to see like the early stages of this and how it translates into, okay, maybe proving out valuable data and selling this to labs, or what it actually looks like. And so I think today we want to get Misha to give us the full scoop on BV7X, how updates have been, how things have been going for them, what updates have been coming through the pipeline, and just generally how the agent economy has progressed. So without further ado, we're going to get Misha up here, and he's going to break it all down for us. So, Misha, we appreciate your patience. Welcome to MCG.
Yeah, thanks for having me back here.
We're excited to chat, get the updates, see what's going on. It seems like you guys have been cooking right along with everything development-wise.
Yeah, we actually just released the staking compute, I think yesterday. A lot has happened in the last week preparing for that. So that was pretty much the first piece of the roadmap, the first milestone that we needed to achieve. And so what that basically allows or opens the door to is staking BV7X, the compute token, in order to access like the signal as well as earn revenue from the protocol. So there's a lot more going on in the summer and then for the rest of the year. But yeah, that was like the first big milestone for the protocol.
Could you break that down a little bit for us, how that actually works theoretically or in
yeah, sure. I mean, just for more context, like BV7X, it's a protocol that incentivizes compute for prediction markets. So it's designed for agentics, meaning anyone can wire up their models and bots to predict price action. And it's similar in the sense to BitTensor, where BitTensor is incentivizing compute, and they have this token tau that is distributed to people that are providing compute for image creation or like voice creation. And for BV7X, we're specifically focusing on forecasts or models that can predict price action. And so the idea was to create this like two-sided marketplace. So different from like how Polymarket or Kalshi is set up, where if you're predicting where Bitcoin is going to be in the next like 6 or 7 days or whatever time horizon, you're basically choosing up or down. But what BV7X allows you to do, or for agents to do, is to be a lot more granular with higher conviction in wagering where the price of an asset that has an on-chain oracle basically is going to be. And so for the BV7X token, what it enables you to do is not only participate in these prediction markets, but also earn a piece of the pie, because the predictions that are generated within the protocol are done by agentic competition. And the idea is that through agentic competition, this generates robust data or predictions that can be sold back to the market. So there's very much this interesting and like lucrative design baked into the token, which we call compute token. It's very similar to BitTensor.
Can I ask about how results have been for that? This is super interesting. And again, we've seen like these agentic platforms where agents are competing or doing things to confirm, create data that is then sold. How is this working in practice? Is this data, it's highly, I think it's like it's a very nice niche you're working in. What are the results of this data? And I'm sorry to just keep blabbering here, but what are the results of this data that you guys have been putting out? Is it valuable? Has it been working for people? Yeah,
I mean, let me take a step back here. I mean, the reason why I built like the origins of BV7X come from another protocol that I had raised like roughly like $2 million for. It was a structured credit facility where you could borrow against your Bitcoin and then deploy into institutional yield strategies. And around like October last year, when everything started falling apart in the market, I started really getting into like Claude Code, and I fell really deep down that rabbit hole. And I found myself essentially building out like a Bloomberg terminal to like monitor Bitcoin collateral, because we needed to see like exactly, we wanted to have the proper risk management, like beyond like using, some of the security protocols like Hypernative out there. Sure. And so I figured that like, okay, so with my background and working in DeFi as well as traditional finance for however long at this point, I can do this, and I can do it quite fast using Claude Code. So this is what I basically did. I built this terminal. And then I decided to wire it into Polymarket, because they just released their SDK back in January. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. So now I have like my own regression model that I'm tracking on my own terminal that I wired into Polymarket. Like, this is something like super interesting that I can productize. And I immediately was like, well, every wager that I make can be like attested on chain. And then I started like really thinking like, okay, so this is super interesting, because now you can have like millions, billions of agents that are participating perhaps in this like sort of competition that are, that are predicting the price action of assets like Bitcoin, for example. And perhaps like you could fit in like, an incentive, again, like similar to what like BitTensor does to incentivize the compute. And so that was the idea. And so kind of like right when it started, the the protocol in its like first days was attesting all of the wagers on chain. So if you go to like base attestations, like you can see all like the predictions that BB7X was making. But in the beginning, it was like literally only my model. So you could track all of my model's predictions, and then once I opened up the arena, there was like roughly, I don't know, I think right now there's still like 5,200 agents that are competing in there. And so what I decided to do was like aggregate all of those, and most of the time my agent was winning the competition, even though it was like pretty much like paper trading. There was no incentives at the time, but like the accuracy was, I mean, it started off at like 70%, which was ridiculously high for predicting like Bitcoin or just like for any model in general. And then as edge goes, like it's sort of like dwindled down, and now it's actually below 60%. Mostly, in my opinion, because like this year has been like the most chaotic time in the market in a long time. So, but that being said, like 70%, like 60 to 70% for as edge for like a protocol that's designed to predict like Bitcoin being up or down is quite significant. And so, me personally, I had wired that in into my Polymarket account or wallets, and was like making like a good amount of like cash on the side. So that's sort of like so to answer your question, the accuracy is above 50%. It's below 60% now, but the idea is that like we aggregate as many agents as possible and incentivize like the best agents or compute models out there that can like do like serious work here.
This is really fascinating because we know these institutional grade algorithms are extremely expensive. They're gated behind contracts, and the average person does not have access to them. So like I can see this data being very, very valuable. Who is like the end buyer for something like this? Let's say this continues to progress, edge continues to get higher and higher as these agents adapt. Who buys these, I guess, algorithm strategies, data from you guys? What's the end clientele look like?
Yeah, I mean, naturally, I think like anyone that's a trader, this is a great product to like wire into your setup. So it's like super easy to do just simply through an API. I think the people that will understand this the most will be like your quants, your analysts, traders. So like that's like the obvious first like demographic. But the bigger picture here is like kind of like what you were touching on is there's this sort of like oligopoly happening on like intelligence right now by these frontier labs that are just getting exponentially better at producing this intelligence, aggregating it. It's like pretty I don't want to say like concerning, but I mean in a way it sort of is, because it's sort of like carving out like a very, very, very small percentage of society that's going to have access to this stuff. And so as I was building this out, I was just like, okay, so agentics are here, higher intelligence is here, it's really easy to access. There must be a way to like make some mechanism so much cheaper to purchase basically things that give you an edge in the market for like financial return. And so like, me having my DeFi financial background, I've always wanted to outcompete like, the bond market significantly. And so prediction markets have sort of like offered this new way of kind of like, earning, financial return on the side, and significantly so. Like, I think a lot of people were posting about how they were making like thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the problem there was that like no one could actually prove what these people were doing. So that kind of like feeds back into the thing where it's like you want agents that have credibility, that are doing everything on chain, that you can track, that you can monetize. And so like that's even just like some more interesting stuff that's like being shipped like down the line. But the priority right now is like to release the first Bitcoin prediction market. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. It's pretty cool.
I guess another question I would have is, you guys chose prediction markets rather than, maybe options or perps or spot or like whatever it might be. What is the thinking behind that?
I mean, the fact that like you could just simply create an agent, but I guess technically what you can do with BB7X is not only feed it into a prediction market, I mean, you can take the signal and basically like wire up any sort of model that you have into your own into your trading platform. So actually, the closed beta right now, we configured Lighter's SDKs for perp trading. So me personally, right now, I actually use like the BB7X signal for Bitcoin for perp trading on Lighter. So there's several ways you can like configure BB7X to however you trade. But I think the important thing to point out here is that the prediction market model in itself is what's facilitating this tournament of agentics. That's sort of like what the advent of prediction markets from Polymarket and Call Street has like introduced and like sort of clarified and legalized for the world. And so piggybacking off of that, this is basically a prediction market in itself that is doing like bigger incentivized compute sort of models and configurations here.
Got you. And even before we keep on going with the product and stuff, I want to touch on your background a little bit, because we keep talking about how you have this financial background. You worked in DeFi. Normally we just start with backgrounds, but we didn't quite do that today. So maybe you could just give us a bit of your background so we can fully familiarize ourselves with it.
Yeah, sure. So I was an early investor in Ethereum. I started one of the first decentralized science protocols back in 2018. It was called EQ. You could probably find the white paper.
Wow,
online.
that is like OG DeSci. Holy cow.
Yeah, it was DeSci before DeSci was even DeSci. So yeah, we created a protocol where you could fund bio R&D with IP tokens. And so we actually had funded several projects in China with this protocol, and we were funded by like some like OG founders from like MakerDAO, Dfinity. So yeah, it was a while ago. And when DeFi summer happened, like I got sucked into that, and then I proceeded to raise 12 million for a protocol called Popcorn, which was similar to Urine Finance, but we were donating a portion of the protocol fees to public goods, which was pretty cool. That had pivoted to Vaultcraft, which was one of the first like institutional vault management protocols like a few years ago. So that reached like 150 million, an all-time high in TVL.
Nice.
And yeah, then BitVault last year. But I mean, my first job right out of college was at Credit Suisse in private banking. And then I worked in corporate strategy at SAP for a while as well. So it's sort of like inevitable that I was going to read the Ethereum white paper working in finance and tech. But yeah, I've been around for a while in crypto now.
Very cool. Okay. Just wanted to get that out of the way there, because that was important. Very, very cool background, by the way. So let's talk through, I guess, a little bit more of the platform. You have all these different agents competing, introducing new strategies, and then these strategies can be sold to other people. How do you, I guess, separate the wheat from the chaff, in the sense that there's going to be agents that go and create terrible strategies that are not sustainable, or maybe only last for a short period of time? How do you separate those from the ones that have maybe back tested for a long time, been in use for a while? Curious.
So this is the reason why we're scaling up like slowly. We're starting with the Bitcoin market. So I'm not sure if like you're aware, your audience is aware of how Polymarket started, but it was literally one market and it had like no liquidity for
really?
years. Yeah, it was about, I think it was like the market was like when COVID ends or something. And I might be wrong about that, but I remember like that was sort of like the origin.
Exception.
Yeah, exactly. And so they worked on that for a while. Like they needed liquidity, obviously, for those markets to work. And so like I, having been a builder in DeFi and crypto for a while now, I know how to like, scale up with sort of like the rollouts of these things, because these things can be super complex and I don't want to take on more than I can chew, right? So like the idea is to start with Bitcoin, to anchor the Bitcoin prediction market with my own strategy, and then invite more agents, which is exactly what I did. So like my agent was basically, it was back tested over like 13 years of data. I was basically the only agent in the protocol or my agent was the only agent in the protocol that was doing anything. And then I opened the doors to like roughly 5,000 agents, and then they were competing. And still my model was the best, but like I was, I have obviously a background in building these things out. So, and just to touch on this point, right? Like, I'm not a leading quant. I'm just a guy that figured out how to use Claude Code, how to take all this data from all these exchanges and analytics platforms and tailor it for a forecast model. And I was getting above 65% for, a couple months, which is wild. So if I'm able to do that, then you and your mother are going to be able to do the same thing. And so the idea here is that because everyone's going to have the ability to do this with Claude Code or whatever LLM that you're going to use in the future, I wanted to build an infrastructure that makes it super easy for anyone to basically just jump in, wire their setup in, and then start making cash if they can. So that was the idea. And then obviously when things are a bit more fine-tuned in the market with Bitcoin, we can open up to Solana, we can open up to Hype, BNB, and then basically anything that has an on-chain oracle, which offers on-chain settlement and resolution can be added. But I mean, it's going to be a slow rollout. This is a complex sort of protocol that is being built out. BitTensor, I'm not exactly sure how fast it took them to scale up, but I would imagine we're sort of on a very similar trajectory here.
Interesting. Can you talk about that trajectory and interest a little bit? How has growth been? How's adoption been? Who's the primary user? Maybe walk me through some of those metrics.
Yeah, I mean, so Stake Compute just launched. We have roughly 30% of the supply staked, mostly through a lot of whales that have accumulated the token from what I can see on chain. And I mean, that's pretty significant, right? So I spent the last couple of weeks, making sure the audits and all the bugs were fixed there, such that people can not only stake but earn revenue. Right now, the revenue only coming from Clanker. But in the future, in the near future, people will be able to earn, USTC and BB7X from the markets. And yeah, I mean, just to focus on that, that's pretty significant. I mean, getting people to buy in and stake that much, and we get roughly 15% APY because there's a billion BB7X that's being distributed to the stakers right now. I would say that's definitely a pat on the back moment, and it's definitely a precursor to what's to come, because I said, I'm slowly rolling this out. I want people to get comfortable with the protocol. There's a lot of education that needs to happen. One of the reasons why obviously I'm here and discussing this with you, but we're sponsoring Late Night on Base, speaking to a lot of people, not only in the Base ecosystem but in Solana. Speaking to, I think the guy, the developer, Chris Gilbert from Squire and UsePod. We're partnering with UsePod to make inference cheaper for strategy creators, which is super cool. So I think it's July now. So when I launched the tournament, I guess it was February 1st. So there's a lot that has happened since then, and I think right now the next big step is to actually release the Bitcoin market, and everything is sort of already designed in the closed beta. The closed beta is out, so if you signed up for it, you have access to Stake Compute, but you can also play around with the institutional arena. You can see the features that are on there right now. I don't know, am I allowed to share my screen? I can kind of show you what's going on.
Yeah, you can definitely share your screen. I would love that.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
I did have this site up, but it was lagging me a bit, so I figured I'd drop it down while we were talking.
Yeah, no worries. Can you see my screen?
Yep, I got you here. Pop it up now.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, you can access the app if you actually had registered for the closed beta from the website. Up top, you can see how much has been staked. So this is roughly 30% of the supply, which is a lot higher than I had expected. And this is within the last 24 hours, by the way. And so if you come here, if you come to Stake Compute, like again, you can see that there's roughly 27 billion or 30% of the supply that's staked. You know, just to show you how this works.
And this is in the last 24 hours?
Yeah. I honestly, to be candid, like the one reason I would say the big reason why is because like there is a whale group for BB7X, and these guys have been waiting to do something with their tokens for quite some time now. And so they were pretty excited. Yeah, in order to get this going. So anyways, like you can simply stake, and I'm not going to stake right now just to show you exactly how this works. You can stake your BB7X token. And I have this screen open here just to show you exactly like why anyone would buy BB7X. So other than this contract being bootstrapped with 1 billion BB7X tokens, which right now is still giving you 15% APY if you want to get in there. This is essentially how the game works, right? So very similar to like Polymarket, but also different. So what's happening in BB7X is that predictors, and it can be humans as well, but like mostly designed for like agentics, they're wagering however much cash to bet where Bitcoin is going to be in the next 7 days, or 1 to 7 day time horizons. Desks, quants, analysts, they can purchase basically this granular sort of like price prediction that's happening here, assuming that obviously, given that these agents have good on-chain credibility, they're reliable. So like people can be buying these predictions on the side, and then when on the payout, predictors win basically how much they put in plus a little bit more, and then the protocol earns a fee as well. And so this fee is fed back in to the token. And so there's a crazy diagram here that I have as well that I'll just quickly go through. But basically you have forecasters, strategy builders, staking, BB7X, and it's essentially flowing, or the protocol fees are flowing back to the BB7X holder. Percentage of the fees are actually being burned as well. So there is quite a, it's very also similar to like how BitTensor works, an interesting like token economic design working here. And anyways, yeah, so that's just a quick explanation of how the prediction markets work. And then if you go into the closed beta here, you can see that you'll be able to deploy your own agent really fast. So you can just use natural language to rig something up. You can also like customize your own agents or wire it in however you want. There will be like weekly challenges for Bitcoin. So this again is also still being built out. But all the agents like will be able to be tracked with their on-chain credibility, with their accuracy, how many signals they put out. And so anyways, the only feature that's available right now is Stake Compute. But if you do have access to the closed beta, you can see all this stuff. And so, we're slowly rolling things out, and it's things are getting really interesting since the last 24 hours.
So I want to close the loop on this, on the economics of everything here. So maybe I'll touch on the staking. What are the benefits for staking, right? Why would someone go ahead and do that?
Right. So beyond just like, bootstrap rewards, the idea is that if you stake BB7X, you have access to a signal that's being generated by this protocol, that's being generated by thousands, millions of agents, or ideally, right? So like, let's say a year from now, where if everything goes well, we have, X number of agents that are predicting the price action of Bitcoin, and, 10% of those agents have, a very, very good on-chain credibility or on-chain reputation. And we do that through ERC 8004. So then as a staker, you're also earning revenue from people buying this prediction or these predictions. And so what the protocol will do, it'll essentially like emit a prediction range in which like you can wire into like whatever you want to do on your own prediction market, or if you want to, use that as sort of like an API for like trading on perps or just on spot, doesn't matter. The idea is that this is a signal that you can easily wire in. And the protocol is also taking a portion of the fees that are coming into this pool. So not only is the protocol like earning revenue, which is also feeding back into like the staking contract, but the stakers are also earning revenue from buyers. And again, like if you're actually staking BB7X, or if you're wagering with USDC, you're obviously winning that as well. So a bit different than how a BB7X Polymarket or Kalshi works, where they have like liquidity pools. Like the liquidity pool here is effectively the USDC or BB7X that's being staked or wagered.
So I guess I want to get a better understanding of your go-to-market strategy here. You know, you mentioned the current agents and users that you have on the platform. How do you grow this pie to a much bigger size?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think like operating in this realm with agentics is a bit different, right? It's a bit different than your typical customer acquisition sort of like strategy, right? So like this is designed for agentics. This is designed for people that are not only designing like an agent or a model, but they're designing like multiple agents. And that's not to say that like the more agents that we have in BB7X, the better, but it is to say that the more like elite agents that have great on-chain reputations in BB7X, the better. And so in order to get the flywheel going, we have to have some sort of incentive mechanism, again, similar to BitTensor, to incentivize compute and or forecasts or models. And so that's exactly like what we're doing here. I don't think the go-to-market would have worked with like many prediction markets. Again, just focusing on like this one Bitcoin prediction market, but then, assuming people start buying the tokens, start staking, and they see that the revenue is coming in. And by the way, I mean, the BB7X is currently also like wired into virtuals. So like if you actually wanted to plug in your agent via virtuals and access that through BB7 or access the BB7X signal, you can do that. But again, I mean, for anyone to use this, like we need to, use the BB7X token to get things going. But I mean, also, I think like with what we're doing on the marketing side, specifically in the Base ecosystem, like I said before, like we're sponsoring Late Night on Base. There's interesting, I guess, like partnerships that are happening beyond Base, so in the Solana ecosystem as well, because the idea is to incentivize not only agents on Base, but also like on Solana. RobinHood that just came out the other day. Anything that actually can also work with X402. X402 agentic commerce is like going to be super important here, because we want not only agents to be predicting and wagering here, but we want them to like be doing them like by themselves, which is basically how my bot works. And so I guess just to end on that, like the idea is that if you do have an agent, if you do have a bot or a model that runs on its own, that's great, because you can just like let it just run into this tournament like forever, and then just have like this sort of self-sustaining agent financial return sort of thing happening for you. And that's I think like that's like a super achievable thing to do now.
So it seems like your strategy largely is just grow the footprint. Let's get on Robinhood. And we know Robinhood's doing a lot for agentic trading. They talked about on their Flat Earth call, which they just held. Get plugins with virtual. Just expand the footprint as much as we can, and naturally these agents are going to start flowing through the platform. There's this thesis I've had for a while. It's that agents are just going to do whatever the most economically viable thing is, right? And if an agent can, if it has X amount of compute and they're spending X amount on compute every day, and they can go and make more than that on, from participating in your platform, well, they're just naturally going to do that over time. And so I think anyone that's dialing in on an agentic platform that can harness compute power and have these agents earning more than the other ones, agents are going to naturally flow to that, especially if you have a big footprint. So I like the strategy there, and it's a good approach.
Yeah, it's I mean, again, like this is very much like early days in this for like BB7X. I think from now until probably I say like September. We'll be like working hard on releasing this first prediction market. In fact, like the only thing that really has to be that has to be done there is audited several times. But that's really when we're going to be showing some like game film. So like,
let's go.
Right now, get comfortable with like staking your compute. But when the actual market comes out, that's when things are going to be, really getting interesting.
Love it. So maybe close me off there, and you kind of touched on it, but anything you didn't cover in terms of roadmap, what you guys are excited for, working towards, next steps?
So I mentioned before I have a live stream with Chris Gilbert from UsePod and Squire. I think one important thing to point out here, right, is that when you're thinking about in terms of like agents or agentics, right, like you have to sort of kind of open up your mind a bit. It's a different dynamic than the human dynamic, right? So this is an infrastructure designed for millions, billions of agents that are wagering BB7X or like USDC, and so once people really do catch on to how to really like use LLMs effectively. I mean, much more effectively than like the small percentage of society right now that knows how to do it. But like when they do, the models or the frontier labs that are going to be charging however much are just going to be really, raping people. Like as you can see with like what like Fable is or like Anthropic is doing on with like the Fable rollout. Like you can see that there's like this concerning sort of price that's going to be hanging over everyone's head on using this technology.
Yeah.
And things like inference capital markets that Chris is building on UsePod, and there's other places that as well. It's super not only like novel, but it's like timely and will be super useful for BB7X because we want to make it super cheap for people to customize and deploy their strategy agents. And if they can use things like UsePod or inference capital markets, even better, right? So like now all of a sudden we're actually effectively increasing your potential like financial return just by reducing the inference cost. And this is a lot of crazy words and AI compute language and terminology I'm using right now, but generally speaking, what we want to do for the user is make it super easy and super cheap in order to participate in these tournaments. And so that I think we'll be able to configure as well as via X402 using UsePod like very soon. So that's definitely a very cool thing to call out.
I think that's a really interesting approach, and absolutely the way you should do it. Kind of this Costco strategy where it's like bring costs for customers down as much as you can, rather than like a Walmart strategy where it's like, okay, let's gouge wherever we can from the customers. And so it makes for a really interesting dynamic. And I think, yeah, like the bottom line is lowest hanging fruit is let's bring the cost of compute down for as many people as possible to participate. So it's a great point. Misha, I think it's been a pleasure. I think we covered pretty much everything that I wanted to today. If there's anything you want to leave us with last minute, now the floor is yours. So let me know.
Stake Computer, the closed beta is live. You signed up in the window when you could sign up. It is available. You can stake your BB7X. 30% of the supply has already been staked in August. I think probably August 1st is when we'll open up everything to the public. But yeah, if you were able to get in the window, there's still like 15% APY from like a pool of a billion BB7X tokens in there. So you can earn some pretty good rewards right now. The liquidity is quite significant, I think, in the pool that we have right now. It's definitely higher than your normal meme coin liquidity. So yeah, definitely get in there and yeah, pay attention to what's happening next because it's good. It's going to be
one more thing, Misha, I forgot to touch on. We always talk about token on the show. Where's the token come into this? And of course, we got to make it kind of brief here, but you mentioned you can earn tokens as rewards. Is the token inflationary? Where do those tokens come from? Are you buying back those tokens on the market? Kind of give me the full picture there.
Yeah, okay. So quick rundown on the token. So BB7X was launched through Clonch, a launch pad on Base. Clonch came out sort of like relatively the same time as OpenClaw. It was kind of an accident, to be honest with you, and I had to buy my own tokens like 24 hours later because apparently people were interested in the market. But it was a fair launch, and there was no like VC or pre-mine. Complete fair launch. It's been around since February 1st. And yeah, right now there is a Clanker pool, only one Clanker pool that you can trade in. It's on Uniswap. And the fees that are being generated in the pool are also being routed to stakers. And so the first month we actually did the buyback and burn because the market cap was so low. So like the effect of the buyback was pretty significant. So we already burned roughly 8% of the supply. In the future, there might be more buybacks. Yeah, I guess the most important thing from like the Clanker pool side of things is that the fees that are being generated there, and roughly I think like there's like 500 million in BB7X tokens that I saw today that can be added to staking rewards. Those will automatically be dripping through staking going forward as well. Things might change in the future, but regarding like staking rewards, that's how it's going to operate from now. And then, yeah, buybacks, we might do them in the future. Probably better to do them but when we're still sort of like under the 1 million radar. As we go up, like we'll see what happens. But yeah, I guess I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, well, important to note also, this is non-inflationary. Like this supply, the only way you can drip out supply is via buybacks, or the only way to acquire is off the free market. To then
yeah, exactly. Sorry, that's a really important point. Non-inflationary, we can only buy back the token to distribute it or burn it.
All right. Well, it's a good point. Misha, thanks so much for coming on. We'll be in touch.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Talk soon. Best of luck. Peace. All right, let me get my boy Chill back up here. Yo.
What's up, guys? What's up? Had to take care of something real quick, but great interview with Misha, by the way. We still have to do our takeaways. We do have Clash in the waiting room, so it's up to you. We can do a little quick something now, or we can just do it all at the end.
Quick summary. It goes back to the thesis I kind of talked about mid show. I think agents are going to do the most economically viable thing. So if BV7X can come in and slash compute down to a very affordable cost, and then have agents being able to produce results that gets them paid, I think they're going to do it naturally. And so I think that's how you grow these agentic platforms. And he explained it perfectly. The go-to-market strategy is not some sort of marketing push that you do on TikTok, not some sort of UGC thing. It's very much so like broadening the footprint and expanding to all these different platform plugins. So accessibility for these agents is going to be a lot easier, especially when you do provide the economic viable, the economic solutions that makes the most sense for them. So that's kind of what I come down to. We'll see. I think the best way to track this is how many agents are using the platform, making predictions. Are these models meaningfully improving, right? Are the trades getting better? Are the predictions getting better? Because then again, you can weaponize these, I guess, a little bit more to where it's like, hey, the results are really, really good. They speak for themselves. You know, how can we monetize this? So that's like my general takeaways. But if you had anything, Chill, you want to note on, go ahead.
No, I think that sums it up pretty. I think that sums it up pretty well. So I guess now we can just go ahead and transition into the next interview. We have Satoshi in the back, and I guess maybe I can tee this one up. This is one of my one of my favorite projects. I've gotten introduced to them. It was like maybe last week or the week before. Was kind of digging into them, and then after really kind of digging into the thesis and digging into the fundamentals, I was kind of blown away. $50 million in total volume. They had they have a partnership with Lighter. We've talked about Lighter here on the show as well. So I'd love to get the team up, kind of get a sense of what's driving this volume. Where is this all coming from? They've integrated with like 15 perp dexes. So I want to see if, what other perp dexes could potentially, be in the pipeline as well. But yesterday on the show, we covered the thesis about how the next kind of major apps would be the ones that that gamify the user experience. And so this kind of gamification that's built as a front end on top of perp dexes, I think, could potentially be something pretty groundbreaking. So let's go ahead and get Zaitoshi up, and we'll go ahead and kick off the interview, and he can give us the lowdown on everything Clash. Zaitoshi, how's it going, bro? How are you?
Hey man, can you guys hear me clearly?
Yes. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's good. Appreciate you guys bringing me on. I think thank you to my community as well for making this possible. I don't think we would have gotten your attention otherwise.
Oh no, yeah, your community has definitely been, in the comment section. They've been in our Discord as well, really pushing for you guys. So happy to finally get you on the show. And I will say, I want to see if I can get a demo of the game today.
I would love to.
Awesome. Perfect. So we'll go ahead and get all of that sorted out here. But, before we get to, product, what you're building, demos of the game, I wanted to talk first a little bit more about you yourself, who you are, get to know you and your background, and perhaps what even qualifies you to build something like Clash.
Yeah, happy to share. I'm based in Singapore. I previously worked at a few blockchains. The most notable one was Iris last year, a data chain that raised 10 million Series A. I did growth there, so I always have done a lot of work around the ecosystem side of things. I'm well connected with a lot of the other pub dexes that I've integrated on Clash, which also was why we segued to Clash as well. So after I left Iris, I've decided to build apps and just try to see if we can hit product market fit. One interesting problem that I saw with pub dexes back then, I spoke with a lot of hyperliquid front-end builders and also Drift as well, before they got exploited. And TLDR, a lot of them are not able to retain their users. Upon launching their token, after points and doing their TG and doing the airdrop, they usually have a 95% drop off in terms of users. So even on Hyperliquid, if you look at some of these front ends, up to today, actually 95% of their trading volume is done by top 5% of traders. So most of the retail traders that stick around after the airdrop mainly do around 150 in lifetime value in trading volume. So it's actually very bad. And if you look at current pub dexes, none of them are innovating on their incentive mechanisms. They're all just doing points programs. They're hoping that people are still going to do the kind of thing whereby people assume or speculate that 1 point is equals to $100, right? Now you can clearly see a huge drop off even before TG, that usage is not sustaining for points programs. So my front end essentially comes to play on this by making it fun and engaging to essentially trade pubs, and a lot simpler as well. And most of our trading competitions that we host with pub dexes, we use a set of factors to weight for the leaderboard. So usually for trading competitions held by other pub dexes, they use purely P&L, but 95% of traders have negative P&L. So we weighted across trading volume and also trophies that you earn from raiding in the game. But I'll share more on that later. Sorry for the long rundown.
No worries. No, I think that's really interesting. The drop off in usage over the course of time for a lot of these perp dexes. I mean, so I guess this is just our bridge into Clash itself and the product. But what was your solution to this drop off in users? What's your solution to this problem that many perp dexes faced?
Essentially, yeah. The solution that I have so far is to make it such that trading isn't purely dependent on just points. It can depend on other things. Like in this case, it's the weekly prize pool in trading competitions. There's also just the pure fun of building up your base and battling other traders within the platform. So my game platform essentially unifies all the, currently we integrated 18 pub dexes so far. We have a few unannounced. But yeah, it's a one unified game layer on top of 18 pub dexes. Regardless which one you connect from, you're essentially playing against all these traders. One game account can also account for multiple pubdexes. So even if you're using, let's say, Decibel on Aptos, or Purple on Monad, or Phoenix on Solana, as long as you have have a game account with us already, it will all unify under that. And yeah, we make it fun and competitive for traders to continuously trade and play our game, so that is able to keep driving the trading loop that most of these pubdexes fail to retain for points.
So before we get into well, I guess the proper, I really want to get into the numbers so bad, but we really should get into the product first. So I guess this is the natural next step. Walk us through, kind of game mechanics. What's making these traders come back? What's keeping them so engaged? Walk us through the game, and this is where feel free to show us a demo or what have you. Love to jump into it.
Yeah, let me share my screen.
Yeah, sure. We definitely love demos here, and we're pulling up your screen now.
That's great. Can you see my screen?
Let's see. It is taking a moment to pop up. Let's try it again. Almost there.
Yeah, it looks like it's giving us just a black screen here. Maybe
can you try resharing your Yep.
Okay. Let me share screen. Okay. What about now?
All right, let's see here.
I'm not sure why it's just showing a black screen. Do you have something pulled up on your end, or?
No, actually, it's just my screen. Maybe let me refresh it. Let me refresh it.
Yeah, it's a live show. Things happen with live demos. StreamYard sometimes glitches out and does things, so no worries at all. We'll just see if we can quickly troubleshoot it and get it going.
Okay. What about now?
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. Perfect.
So yeah, let me give you the rundown. So this is where you see your user account. This is where you connect the different pubdexes. As you can see, we're connected to 18 so far. There's a few unannounced, but today we announced the largest trading competition we have with Ostium, 50K prize pool. But today we'll just show you through Pacifica, because we're currently hosting a trading competition on Solana. So essentially, every dollar you trade within the game, you get 0.3 gold. And gold is required throughout the game in terms of building up your base, upgrading your troops, training your troops as well to go to battle. And even to go to battle, it requires gold. So you'll be able to see that essentially to play this game, you need to just keep trading. And we do have quests as well. So we can get people to trade specific tickers. We refresh our Solana tickers every day. And we bring in a bunch of others as well. And yeah, you can essentially trade directly on the platform. Our trading UI might not be as nice as the typical terminals, but it gets the job done. And yeah, here you go. It shows you the gold that you get. And yeah, regarding why is it so fun, and why do traders and pubdexes like to host trading competitions with us, is because for our trading competitions, the leaderboard is weighted across 3 different factors: trophies earned, trading volume, and PNL. Trophies are you can only earn trophies when you win a battle. You earn 30 trophies per battle that you win, and for the ones that you lose 15. And if people attack your base and they are successful in destroying it, you also lose 15 trophies. So in this case, every day we drop points to the participants, and they are weighted across essentially how much they have contributed in trophies, volume, and PNL against the other traders. As you can see here, for today, we're on day 7, around 500K in trading volume, and this is how the points are distributed, and they'll be distributed at the end of each day. And you can also you can do this for any of the pubdexes that you connect into. So if you're connecting through Solana, you can see this as well. All our volume stats are all transparent here. And yeah, you can see how the trading competition is going along. This is how you register for it. You drop your Solana wallet address, your Twitter handle, and then you click join. And yeah, you're in. You can see historicals as well, the ones that we've held before. And yeah, actually, let me just give you a quick demo on the tech. If you guys played Clash of Clans, it's a lot more similar to that.
Literally said that yesterday. I was like, this reminds me of Clash of Clans. But yeah, please.
Yeah, so essentially, okay, this is not a very good base to demo. When you take down a base, you're actually just grabbing their resources. The main aim is to take down their town hall, and you have fire grenades that you can use to direct troops and this cannon to give extra damage. Let me do one more attack to give a better demo. So essentially for these bases, we have players who just log on and maybe they they didn't really like it or didn't bother to trade, so they didn't actually proceed after with building out the other stuff. Let me try to find a better base. Okay, yeah, because the other point is that my account is on low elo, so we're just meeting all the level ones. So this is a town hall level 1. But yeah, let me show you how the fire grenade works. This is how you direct troops to specific targets, and this is the cannonball, which is sent from which is sent from the cannon ship. Yeah, so essentially you go through battles and you win trophies and you win some resources.
Got it.
And that brings you on to climb the leaderboard within our trading competitions. We do have a general leaderboard as well, where you can see where each trader is coming in from. There's Hibachi, Pacifica, Decibel, Phoenix, etc. That's essentially
Got you. So as Crypto Jones here says, it's really not like the game. The game isn't trading the perps. Trading perps helps you just to play the game. And so I guess one question I had, just kind of going back to all these trading competitions, kind of walk the audience through, what's the thought behind these trading competitions? Obviously, you're integrating a lot of these different perp dexes. You have a lot of traders yourself, but what do the trading competitions and tournaments, what does that do for you, and what does that do for that particular perp dex?
Okay, yeah, for trading competitions, I guess maybe I can also give you context of why I built Clash of Perps. I saw a trading competition held in South Korea where they had a big screen out with a chart and there's commentator shouting away about how each trader is playing. And then most recently, Euphoria Finance had a Korea event as well, where they had people clicking boxes on the screen and using their phones as well. And yeah, like to me, those are not fun mechanisms that can last more than 10 minutes. Or trading on its own is not something that you can broadcast it's not that entertaining. So essentially, if you want something more entertaining, it has to be much more than just pure trading. As for what the tournament does for us, we earn 2 basis points for every trade that is executed across all the different pub dexes. So we do make quite a bit. We currently are doing 15 million in monthly trading volume. So 2 basis points is 10K. And for what it does for the pub dexes, maybe for something like Pacifica and Phoenix, they are a lot larger, so it's not a big deal. Like we are only doing 4.8 million, closing on 4.8 million in 6 days. That doesn't do much for them. But for smaller pub dexes, which we integrate like Hibachi, we have done 16 million for them in 7 days. And mind you, per day of Hibachi's daily trading volume is around 16.9 million. So if we're able to essentially make a mechanism or a front end that is more entertaining and more fun for people to use, and users actually do retain trading volume across those days, then essentially we have gotten retail trading volume without points, and that gives them an alternative way to host fun trading competitions as well.
Got it. So essentially what you're trying to do, at least what I'm hearing from it, is these point programs are pretty much pointless. They don't lead to a real engagement for a lot of these perp dexes, or at least not long-term engaged traders. So you're kind of trying to replace that points mechanism with Clash of Perps, and inviting all these perp dexes to say, hey, instead of doing points programs that really don't push the needle for your business, perhaps you can come here and they essentially just create a pool, and then that is a better driver of volume. Am I somewhere in the ballpark?
Yes, and other than that, let's say especially for post TGE pub dexers, I think most of them do not have an answer to what happens after points programs end, and they will need to continue to run their pub decks for however long. I think there's a good chance that in a month, like that's how I put it, every month they would like to host trading competitions, and there's a good chance that they'll host it through us, because so far we are the only game front end for pub dexers. And yeah, essentially what I see for Clash of Pubs in the next maybe 6 to 12 months, we become sort of like a events platform for these pub dexers. Even right now, actually, we do have a backlog of training competitions on a bunch of the other pub dexers, because we do not want to vamp or cannibalize the trading volume on one pub dex to another. So like, let's say we're hosting the Ostium trading competition on Friday. That's just nice when the Solana one ends. And then we'll only host the next one 2 weeks later when Ostium's trading competition ends.
Got it. Okay, so with that in mind, so you're kind of becoming this events layer that can drive engaged trading volume on different platforms. Talk to us about, I want to talk about the TAM, the metrics, as well as the integrations that you have. So like, let's just try to keep that in mind with the line of questioning. I know it's we're kind of going all over the place here.
Yeah.
But let's start with TAM. What's the TAM look like for a platform like you as the kind of events, venue to drive volume on their platform?
Wow. I honestly, I have not looked at that. I think if you were to extrapolate it to total pub dex trading volumes annually, it's definitely exaggerated. Most of these pub dexes, I would say, are even washing their volumes. So I don't think there's a good way to estimate addressable market at the moment. But what I can say is that, let's say currently we're doing 50 million in monthly trading volume. We are looking to try to 3 to 5x that within the next month. We have the only other competitors to us currently, if you look at any pub dex in terms of partnerships that they are doing, they are mostly partnering with market making vault protocols that allows their users to farm volume without them actually trading manually. We will essentially try to build that within this game as well. So that comes from a bunch of feedback that we had from our users, where they were explaining that they much rather just play the game, focus on the gameplay versus actually handle trading. Because I mean, quite literally, they're just pressing buttons, right? They open the trade and then they close it just to farm the volume for trading competitions. So yeah, that's something we hope to do within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And yeah, hopefully by the time that launches, we should have more trading volume as well. Because 50 million at the moment is purely manual. Yeah.
Got you. So you have 50 million in organic volume, and you mentioned there's a vault. Can you just explain that to me one more time? Like, is this vault something that perp dexes use often? Like, and how are you guys going to use it?
Okay, so no. So it's not okay. So my how do I put? Other pub dexers currently partner with us and one other protocol called CD Flow or Arbito. These guys, all they do is handle market making for retail users. So let's say you're a retail user, you want to farm the points on a pub dex, but you don't want to continuously click buttons. You can essentially park your funds with their vault. They execute the trades, they generate the volume, you pay a fee, and that's their business. Yeah, for us, what we're trying to do is we're trying to integrate that within the game. So, I mean, given that within our game, trading is equivalent to farming gold, we are essentially creating a way where you can automate farming of gold. I mean, imagine if Clash of Clans had a way where you could pay $5 per month to farm 100 million gold within the month, right? Then that would have made gameplay a lot easier back then. But yeah, that's essentially what we're trying to do. Yeah. Yeah.
And you guys will kind of outsource that. You're not going to make that in-house.
We're making that in-house.
Okay.
We're not doing anything crazy though. So delta neutral strategies, which is fairly easy to do, and yeah, and what else? Momentum. Okay, I forgot what's the other strategies that we're deploying, but delta neutral is one of the confirmed ones. So nothing complicated. It's just to ensure that users can farm volume without and minimize their losses in doing so.
That's interesting. You guys are kind of abstracting away even more the complexity with this sort of like auto gold farming vault that you guys will come out with, and essentially you can still aim this at whatever perp dex wants to
Yes.
come on board and do some sort of trading competition
Yeah.
that still would help out those perp dexes that want to use you as an event venue.
Yeah, fun fact. So if you were to even compare us with any of these market making vault protocols, they have less perp dexes integrated than us. So given that we're partnered with this many already, if we were to go out there and integrate them for our market making services one by one, I think we'll achieve we'll be able to partner with more within a shorter period of time, and probably host more campaigns across each of these as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I think for us it will be quite an easy win within the next 3 months. But yeah, fingers crossed we get the trading bot right, and yeah, we actually do keep hosting trading competitions for these guys.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe I can tease. Dango is just integrated today. We're doing production ready testing at the moment, but we'll announce it tomorrow. Ostium, like I said at the start, we have a 50K total prize pool trading competition that starts on Friday and ends in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, and a few of the others like Lighter, Flash Trade, and Katana as well. Where's Katana? Oh yeah, Katana. Yeah, those guys, we are actually currently backlogging their. We're pushing back their trading competition in lieu of Ostium's trading competition. So we do have a lot of things that we are holding back at the moment. We have 3 other perp dexes that we'd like to integrate, but we need to space out because we are only a 2-man team, and yeah, we need time to deal with everything.
Got it. So let's talk about these integrations. Are these like full on partnerships with these different protocols? Are you going to them and kind of like developing a relationship with them, or are you just kind of integrating the tech? How are we supposed to think about these different partnerships that you guys have?
So of all these that we have integrated, the only ones we do not have an official partnership with is Hyperliquid, Purple, and Aventis. Yeah. Everything else here, we integrated them and partnered with them at the same time. We have a working relationship with them. We're happy to host training competitions for them on a regular basis if possible. Most of the time when we reach out to these guys, we ask them for a builder code first. Some of these perp dexes do not have builder codes. And the other question we have is whether they are willing to trial hosting a trading competition with us. So when Dango goes live tomorrow, within the next week, we'll likely host a trading competition. When we integrated and partnered with Lighter, it was the same. It was the same terms. We will host a trading competition with them. Down the road. Yeah. So besides these 3, everyone else that we work with is integrated and partnered with.
Wow. Okay. So how did you develop all these relationships? Like, I mean, I'm assuming it's not easy.
I literally, like, let's say for Phoenix, right? I was tweet replying the guy for at least a month or 2 before, like, it was kind of crazy. I tweet replied him to the point he replied my tweet, right? And I got him in the DMs. Then within the Twitter DMs, because he was at some conference, he said he'll add me on Telegram like a week later or after the conference. And after hitting Telegram, I had to schedule a call, and that took another week. So all that takes a lot of time, but I swear to you, every time when I get on the first call of these guys and I show them the product, they just let me know upfront that they have never seen anything like this. No one else is building on top of perp dexes like this. And they are happy to host a trading competition with us. They're happy to partner with us. That's essentially how I've got a bunch of these partnerships. It's literally just, I mean, if you do look at my tweets, I do as many as 10 to 20 tweets a day. Tweet replies, I try to spam them out, especially if we're trying to get a partner. I think like for MCG itself, I think I tweet reply you guys for a few weeks as well. It's just a lot of just tweet
Talk
reply.
about bag work, man. Well, it's
Yeah.
working, that's for sure. Let's talk about tokenomics. So we get the business model, and you know how everything works at a high level. How does all of this kind of connect with the token?
Yeah, so we currently do not take any of the revenue from builder fees or NFT sales that we have. We do have an in-game shop. We only take fees on the token trading fees from Pump Fund. Everything else, we either use it to in some of the price pools. We actually do supplement it with our builder fees as well. But other than that, anything else, we actually use it to buy back the token. Which is also why we have already burnt 20% of our token. So if you do check the market cap, it doesn't tally with the how do I put? Yeah, there's basically just 20% less tokens in circulation, and yeah, we intend to do buybacks for the foreseeable future.
Got it. And that would equate to what, like 95% of revenue that you guys get. I mean, that's outside of just the token fees and the in-game sales. So I'm assuming like 95% or somewhere around that in terms of buybacks.
95%. I mean, yeah, practically 100% of our revenue. I mean, we're not counting token fees are used for buybacks.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So I'm just trying to put this all together.
It is, but it's not, because at the moment we aren't at, how do I put? We're not doing that much revenue yet, right? In terms of token trade, in terms of PubDex builder fees, it's not enough to, I mean, to create a hyper liquid effect, but we hope to get there. Yeah.
Got it. I'm just trying to like put the different pieces together, because essentially like this is you're gamifying the experience of perp dexes. And I thought originally like this is just trading overall, like any user trading. But what you're telling me today is that users, they actually want to play the game more than they want to trade. And so you're going to kind of create this sort of delta neutral strategy that can drive volume for a perp dex by means of a trading competition. So you're solving that side of the problem for them, driving activity on their platform, while at the same time kind of giving to your users a way of, hey, like you still want to play the game. Here's a way you can still play the game without having to, you know, even do any sort of trading. So you're really abstracting away even more so the complex and intimidating nature of perps trading. I think that's really powerful. And you know, I'm assuming that that's going to have a big effect on, you know, things like revenue, trading volume on your platform, and you know, on the platforms of those that you integrate with.
Yeah, I do hope so. We try to cater to everyone on the platform. So we recently did do improvements to the trading UI because some of the pub traders were asking for more details with regards to limit orders and everything. With regards to the game side, those who have made remarks regarding having to abstract away the trading are mostly from our users on Solana Mobile. So our game is on the Seeker phone as well, on their mobile app. You can download it, and actually a bunch of our Phoenix users are coming through there. And yeah, we do have a good retention of around 100 to 200 users on the daily active users. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, sounds good. I think that's all the questions that I had. It's a very straightforward protocol in terms of, you know, tokenomics and what you guys do. I think it's really powerful what you guys are doing in terms of integrating these perp dexes, and your bag working, you know, in the replies has definitely helped you guys integrate so many. But just as far as a much grander vision, what's the overall vision for Clash? What's the, you know, and what are you guys building towards right now? Because it seems like you've done a lot already.
Yeah, happy to share. Gamifying DeFi gamifying pub dexes was just a smaller part of the thesis. I wanted to gamify the whole of DeFi, or any financial feature that crypto has. I think the next two big areas I want to tackle is towards gamifying prediction markets, and also gamifying lending, borrowing, vaults. A lot of crypto actually do not have very good retention mechanisms, even for vault protocols, right? Users stop using vault protocols once interest rates fall. Should that be the case? Are there ways around it? Can potentially making it fun and addictive to play as part of it, would that help? I think yes, and potentially Clash would encompass this whole ecosystem of games that gamify DeFi and hopefully bring retail trading retention to each of these applications. That's my wider vision. I hope I can deliver on it. I'll continue to push on Clash itself. We'll never stop. We'll always be integrating new pub dexers and hosting trading competitions every other week.
Do you think this would all of that grander vision that you saw for gamifying all the primitives in DeFi? Do you feel like that's all going to be a part of Clash itself, or is that going to be like a separate venture?
I will not launch another coin. All value occur back to Clash. I've never seen anyone. I mean, I think it was the AI16Z guy, right, who launches a bunch of coins. It never works. It never works. You just have to focus on one thing and hope to get it right? Or in this case, continue to get it right. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, man, I think this was a really eye-opening interview. I think we had a couple questions in the chat. There's one from Crypto Jones. He says, so what's the gold used for outside of the game? What value and what does the winner of the game win? So just a question for you.
I mean, okay. The game, how do I put you? The only reason you level up in the game is because you want to do better during the trading competitions that we host. Like I mentioned earlier, your game account retains regardless of what pub dex you're connecting in from. I can't see it here. But regardless of what pub dex you're connecting in from, you're using the same game account. So if in the case of, let's say, the OSTM trading competition that's about to start on Friday, if you have already brought your base up to a lot higher level, you're able to send out more troops for battle and essentially guarantee you win. You essentially cover the trophies portion. Volume and P&L are the only other things that you have to worry about during these trading competitions. So that's essentially why you want to grind gold and build up your base to prime yourself for the upcoming trading competitions. And we have trading competitions every week. There is always an incentive to do well in these games, regardless of what pub dex you're connecting from.
And these winners of the trading tournaments, they win a pool of that cash, right? If I'm not
so we have it here actually. So we detail exactly what you're getting throughout, and you can essentially see how much you're getting all the time. It's updated live. Yeah.
Wow. So this is true play to earn in a much different but more sustainable manner.
It's a very sustainable play to earn. I don't think anyone has ever cracked play to earn economics. I don't think anyone would ever crack play to earn economics.
I think you guys just did. I think you got, if I'm not mistaken, I think you guys just did.
In a way, right? I mean, we are not a game where you play and you let's say we're not a game whereby you press attack and after you win a raid you get some money. You actually have it's very meritocratic. You have to essentially do well against other players for a consistent period of time, and I guess in that tiny sense it is a play to earn. Hopefully a more sustainable one. I hope to be here for the next much longer than any of the other play to earn games have done.
Got it. Well, Zaitoshi, we definitely want to respect your time. I really appreciate you joining the stream today. It's been an absolutely amazing conversation, getting to know a little bit more about what you're building, your background, the vision that you have for the protocol as well. It's been an amazing competition. Not competition. We've been talking about it so much. Conversation. But if there's anything else that you'd like to leave the people with, if there's anything perhaps that we didn't cover that you'd like to cover, feel free to do so now. But again, amazing conversation.
Yeah, not at all. I would just like to thank you, Chill and Dinero for getting me on. Thank you for the time, and yeah, thank you for the audience, and thank you to our community as well for getting us on here. Appreciate everyone for the time that you guys have spent with us.
Got it. Of course. Of course. Thanks, Saitoshi. It's been a pleasure. Happy to have you. And, as you continue to build out the project and the product itself, feel free to come back on. We'd love to have you back as, other big updates unfold.
Appreciate it so much. And yeah, you guys have a good day. And yeah, see you guys next time.
Sounds good, Saitoshi. All righty. Take care. Man, guys, nice. That was an awesome conversation. All right, before we even get to the chart, and my takeaways, Crypto Jones, you mentioned, so new users are at a huge disadvantage. I personally think you shouldn't carry over any advantages from game to game. It'll make more sense for the winner to take home a prize and each match starts out equal and fair. I kind of disagree here, Crypto Jones. I'll tell you why. Because the incentive for these, the incentive is to play the game, not just to come in and farm the competition, right? Like, so essentially what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to come in as a new user. Maybe you do come in when there is a competition, but because they'll be hosting competitions regularly, really the part of it is, hey, come in, maybe take advantage of the delta neutral strategy that they're going to come out with, or you just trade normally, right, and accrue points in the game in preparation for a competition that could be starting in the future. So in a sense, yeah, if you're coming in and it's just like a new competition and you're just coming in because, I don't know, Hyperliquid or Lighter or whoever has come up with a new competition to drive volume, and you're coming from their platform. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at it anyway. I think it's I think they might have cracked the code for play to earn. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of play to earn games, they were focusing too much on the inflationary tokenomics. Oh, you said my bad. I wasn't synced up with the live. Oh, got you. No, you're good, bro. You're good. Yeah. So I think, when it comes to like play to earn, that whole sector, I think Clash really unlocked, the true essence of play to earn. Before it was inflationary tokenomics, doing all these like in-game activities that lead to the dilution of the token. And what he's saying is, they're using a delta neutral vault, basically like a market making type of vault, to drive volume for platforms. Platforms on their own struggled to maintain volume over a long period of time. And so what he's ideally saying is, hey, there's a ton of perp dexes out there that want to grow their volume, but don't have a way to do it. Let me create the solution for them. And now in creating that solution, he also has this like sort of delta neutral vault that basically, kind of auto market makes. So basically it trades for users. So users don't even have to trade at all. Now perp dexes, now this perp dex front end becomes completely easy to use, right? Like this becomes completely like, it's just a fun gamified experience. There's no trading involved, but it's the front end for a perp dex, and all of the trading is done automatically for you. In the meantime, all you're doing is, collecting your gold, raiding other players and their islands, collecting all these, what was it? It was gold and like trophies, right, for winning these battles. And then you're going to use that to now earn in these competitions for when they do pop up. And I think that's like, there's a need and there's a gap in the market. And I think they filled it like very well. I really, really like, if anything, this only strengthens my conviction in Clash. Obviously, he said, he's also going to gamify. His goal is to gamify the rest of DeFi. I didn't know about that part, but obviously, that's also pretty good too. When you think of like Axie Infinity, for example, that was gamifying the yield generation experience, right? So obviously there's a lot of potential in the gamification on just DeFi in general. A lot of potential there. Enjoyer67, do you see the YouTube chat? I do, brother. I do. Or sister, brother or sister. But I do see it. I can tell you that much. Appreciate you joining from YouTube, by the way. We've been trying to grow our footprint a little bit across some of the different platforms. So we see a few people joining up from YouTube, like yourself, Ave, and a few others. We're also seeing a few join us from Twitch as well. So brother, got you. Yeah. So, appreciate you joining the show, Enjoyer. But yeah, really love Clash here, man. And just from a chart perspective, obviously a lot of things have dipped. Due to the Robinhood hype. And so that's why you see this sort of dip happening here, I would assume. But in comparison to most other things, like this is actually not too bad of a dip here. If anything, it's just going to the bottom of the range, and you're already seeing this dip getting eaten up as well. I actually might buy a little bit more of Clash a little later myself. But this is looking fantastic. I think the key unlock for this game is this delta neutral vault that they're going to come out with. That will be the key unlock, because now you're automating rather volume. And that's the only thing that everyone is looking for is volume. Perp dexes need volume to boost their metrics, right? Players need volume in order to gain gold. Token holders, like traders like myself, we need volume so that way there's more revenue, right? There's a piece of that volume that goes to revenue, and that revenue goes to buybacks and burns. And so what we're waiting on is that key unlock to drive volume. It's no longer a user actually coming in and being a part of a perp dex. Instead, it's a user coming in and not having to trade perps themselves, but rather they're just coming into a game that's ready. They're able to earn from it, and it's all done automatically. All they need to do really is just play the game itself. And the game itself looks pretty decent, like Clash of Clans style. So really like this. Really like this. But that delta neutral vault is going to be the key unlock for this protocol. So waiting on that for now. All right, guys, that's it for that. What else do we want to talk about here? Maybe I go to macro Bitcoin. Maybe we can talk Robinhood if you guys want. Maybe looking at some tickers. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw this. Pump Fund actually, and I have to reshare my screen on this one so you guys can hear the audio on this. Let's see. I'll share my screen. Bam, there we go. And we can go to this view. We can go to this view. Perfection. Crypto Jones. Maybe I missed it, but I don't understand the incentive for people to play the game. People are just playing the game to play the game. It's a fun Clash of Clans style game. In fact, people don't even want to trade. They more so they don't even want to trade as much. They just want to play the game. And so the gold, the incentive to play the game is to get gold. That's why people play the game. The volume on your trades leads to you getting gold. That gold allows you to upgrade your soldiers, upgrade your island, your equipment. You need gold in order to go and attack players. That gets you trophies. So keep in mind when these competitions come, the incentive to play the game is to get the gold so you can get more. You can upgrade all of your stuff, right? Your army, your island. You need gold in order to attack other players. All of those things help you to win the tournaments. So that's the incentive of the game. The incentive of the game is to get ready for trading competitions, these trading tournaments. And he said that P&Ls don't drive the P&Ls aren't a huge driver of who wins the competition, right? The two main pieces of winning a competition is volume and I believe it was the amount of gold. Like the amount of gold that you have, or the amount of trophies, I believe it is, that you have. I think it was trophies. I think it was the amount of trophies that you have and the amount of trading volume. And then, a 20% weight is put to the P&L of the trade. So if you're a genuinely good trader, then, you're able to get a bump with that. But that's essentially, the incentive to play the game. You need gold to upgrade everything, so that way when you do go to raid other players, you can win that battle, get the trophy, and then when, Lighter or Hyperliquid says, "Hey, Clash, we're going to do a $100,000 trading competition." Well, you now have all of these, you have this upgraded, with that gold, you have this upgraded island, this upgraded arsenal and army and weapons. So now, you can go out and get more trophies during that trading competition because of, with that gold. So yeah, there you have it. It's a really good incentive structure. Very simple, in my opinion. It's not super convoluted. It's not very confusing. It's just hey, trading volume leads to more gold. More gold gets you better at the game. The better you are at the game, the more you're competitive and can actually win money from these trading competitions when they're hosted. So there you go. That's the incentive. Daddy Duster, need to buy you a semi-full beer or something. Chill. That sub 100K cash cat call was legendary. Hey, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Look, I'm stoked. Like literally last night, I'm looking on stream just the other day too. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like the bag is going crazy, and I couldn't even take a look at like my stuff because I was like on stream with you guys. But yeah, man, I'm glad the thesis hit. Like we had the full thesis breakdown inside of the MCG Discord. By the way, I know you guys probably saw the vote in Discord, but we did, make a vote, and according to the community, we wanted to go ahead and lock the Discord. So we're capped at about just slightly over 400 right now. For some, I guess there's some loose links out there. So I might have to come up with a way for that. But basically, we're pretty much capped. We're pretty much capped at where we are. We're at like 426, so the little over 400 than what we wanted. But yeah, like super bullish on the Discord. Here's the dream for the Discord, guys. Here's the dream for the Discord, because look, it's free. It's free. It's free to join. It's not like a paid group or anything like that. It's completely free just for the core MCG audience. So if you've been watching these streams over the last, 3-4 weeks, you were there every single stream when we said, hey, join the Discord, join the Discord, join the Discord. And basically, here's the vision. We're at the bottom of the market, basically at the bottom of the market for all intents and purposes. We are on the cusp of starting, somewhat a new cycle, whether that starts in a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever. I think the worst of the downtrend, the worst of the bear market is over. At most, there's just probably time capitulation, but at the very least, we're done with the minus, 60, 70%, how much ever down we are on Bitcoin. So you have this Discord where we formed it at the bottom of the bear market, and we just find opportunities, just like we did with Robinhood, right? We full thesis breakdown. We gave you guys how to bridge, what assets. We even amongst ourselves talked about, what are we buying? What are we looking into? The different narratives. One of the guys in the Discord talked about the thesis behind tendies, because I totally faded that. Apparently there's some deep lore that is deep lore with Robinhood around the tendies ticker. And so, yeah, we win together, man. That's really what this Discord is about. It's a Discord that's formed at the bottom of a bear market. And we go into this next bull run with a community of people around us that all want to win. And we just hunt together, we trade together. We're not trying to scam nobody. We're just trading, man, like looking for opportunities. It's better to trade with, more eyes on the market than just you, because you as one person or me as one person, I can't catch everything on my own. Between streaming, calls, writing content, trading, bridging, and perp trading and stuff, I only have so much time in the day, same as everyone else. And so that's why we do it together. That's why we have the Discord. Eventually I will reopen the Discord, but when I do, you'll only have access to the general chat and the and my journal. So that at least that way there is some alpha in there for you. But basically there's going to be like XP, like, so, as you spend time in the server, as you react and engage and talk and do other things, you'll begin to earn XP to where you can then, earn the MCG OG role, and that will give you access to, the rest of the server. And we're doing that because, even the people that have been in there, they've seen that people come in and people try to share scam links. They try to shill like stupid projects and stuff. So yeah, like, we don't want to dilute the alpha. We have a really good thing going on, and we want to make sure we keep that as high signal as possible, so that way we can win together. But yeah, that's the whole Robinhood story, man. I mean, it's crazy. We talked about it, and Cash Cat and literally every ticker that you see, and I can even maybe go, because I have like a Robinhood, I have a Robinhood thing here. I have a Robinhood tab. I mean, look at all these charts, man. All these charts are just up and to the right, man, up and to the right. Some of these though, so this is one thing I do want to like share some caution on. Like, I know my earlier tweet, I did say that, hey, basically, like, we are pretty early to the Robinhood hype ecosystem. However, keep in mind that there's a lot of these charts, they're like, in price discovery. So you don't want to end up just buying tops. What I like to do is just put all these charts, in a watch list, and more than likely at some point, the ecosystem will pull back. Because the price doesn't go up in a straight line, right? Price ebbs and flows. It goes up and down. And so we just take a list of all the charts that are going up, all the lore and all the tickers that are poised to go for all-time highs. We take a list of it all, and then we say, okay, when this pulls back, this is the one I'll buy, this is the one I'll buy, this is the one I'll buy, while keeping an eye out for new launches. So yeah, that's just a little something that I wanted to share with you guys. But yeah, the Robinhood chain story is actually kind of crazy. Like, MCG was probably one of the first 200 people on the chain. The first 150, 200, no, okay, maybe the first 300 people. The first 150, 200 people, that was the boys at Phantom Troop. Shout out to Killua and the boys. Like they rock out, bro. Like, they're active 24/7. And they deserve that win. Those guys, I think Killua, he got Cash Cat sub 3K market cap. Like, dude is like, they're literally on chain trenchers, bro. Like, those are the best trenchers in the business. So they're like the first 150, 200, and like MCG was right behind them. You know what I mean? And that's why I came out with the full thesis in the Discord and everything, and shared that with you guys, because because we saw the vision. But yeah, that's Robinhood story. I don't want to hype too LARP too, or I don't want to hit too much on that, talk too much about that. Anywho, Daddy Duster, Arrow hitting 20 mil. Curious if these base utilities will migrate with the Robinhood hype. I'm curious as well. Let's look at the Arrow chart real quick. One thing I've noticed that's a lot different with Vlad than base. I mean, they're actually engaging with the community. I mean, the fact that Vlad came out and followed Cash Cat, He gave the green light for meme coins to continue to push on his to get pushed on his chain. He's realizing he's taking a page from the Tolly book, right? He's coming out and he's basically saying, look, this is actually solid. The volume is coming in. They're degens, but hey, memes are okay too. And so as time goes on, I'm sure he's going to like things, retweet things. I'm sure there's going to be memes on his profile that he'll post on Twitter. I'm sure there's going to be more accounts that he chooses to follow. And I'm sure, there's going to be other like legit projects that launch on his platform, and perhaps he gets involved in those as well. So I'm really like curious to see how Vlad develops this. But the fact that now you have, the Uniswap team also aping into Cash Cat, I think a lot of people, again, going back to our earlier discussion before all of the interviews, Robinhood is a huge company. Their metrics, when you look at them versus Coinbase, solid. I mean, they're bigger than Coinbase. Their growth is better than Coinbase. Their active users are better than Coinbase. Coinbase has more global users total. Coinbase has more people that are signed up, but a lot of the accounts on Coinbase, they're not active. And so in terms of like active user base, Robinhood's like 3 times larger. And they have no crypto component. Now they do. And so the thesis is that, as stuff launches on Robinhood chain, whether it's meme coins, whether it's utility projects, I'm gonna just be a sleuth on the Robinhood chain. And, likely there's going to be another Cash Cat type of play, because the good thing about Cash Cat is it's broken above 100 mil. The ceiling for these tokens is now as high as ever. And so, yeah, man, I mean, look, this is going to be amazing. I really do feel like this is going to be a pretty huge ecosystem. But again, that's not saying that the prices are all going to go up at once or all going to go up in a straight line, right? There's going to be ebbs and flows to an ecosystem. Prices will go up, prices will go down. Smart money takes a note of what's going up, and then on its way down, right? Like these big pullbacks, these minus 60% moves, 70, 80% moves that, that's normal for whether it is meme coins, on-chain coins. These things will all go up. They will go down. They'll go up again. So, if you're not positioned right now, I say all of that to say there will be some opportunity for you. But right now, today is for the day. Today is the day for all the people that were in, all the people that got there and took action early enough. We'll see how things continue to go. But again, this ecosystem is not one. I see a lot of people on the timeline. Oh, Robinhood's going to be dead in like a week or two, or Robinhood is going to be dead in a month. Rewind to last week when the entire chain pulled back. Rewind to last week when that happened, and now look at where we are. These things come and go, man. Prices ebb and they flow. They go up, they pull back, and then they go up again, right? Like that's. But we're at the beginning of this. We still have hundreds of millions of, or I should say, tens of millions of users, that Robinhood will likely onboard. So it's way too early for us to be calling this chain cooked. Way too early. All right. Yeah, Arrow. So Arrow is like some DeFi protocol. It's like some like stable coin product or something like that. I forget exactly what it is. Maybe Daddy Duster. Maybe you can give me a TLDR if you want. But yeah, it's one of the first kind of like utility, like really serious projects on Robinhood. And again, that's why I say we're so early. Literally, there's only one utility project. Well, maybe 2 if you count the one that we talked about yesterday. But there's only one, man. There's only 1 or 2. And so, holy shoot. Where are all these people coming from in the Discord, bro? That's crazy. Gammy Chan. Did Batman come in too? Oh, that's a different Batman. I was about to say. Anyway, my bad, dog. My bad, y'all. Yeah, so that's the breakdown of the ecosystem. I mean, there's not much outside of Robinhood to talk about today. A lot of the other projects and other ecosystems have pulled back. Stuff that I'm keeping my eye on. Obviously, Cash Cat is going to be a staple meme coin on this chain. You have them being followed by Vlad, the CEO, and then the Uniswap team aping as well. GME is another one that's kind of just the lore of that is very adjacent to the mission that Robinhood has, like this whole democratization of finance. The GME movement, reflected that well. So that's one I'd keep my eye on. The homies in the Discord, you guys can tell me more about tendies. I forget what the thesis was for tendies. There's so much stuff I've looked at over these last couple of days, but apparently tendies is a good one as far as having lore within the Robin Hood kind of story. So there's that. Cash Cat as well had lore with the story. And Cash Cat was the name of the old app, the original OG app for Robinhood. Excuse me, I had to sneeze like 3 times. Holy moly. Sorry about that, guys. Um a few others that I'm keeping an eye on here. Kitsu, chart looks actually pretty good. Kitsu looks like it's kind of like forming this rounded bottom here. So, maybe it kind of does like this before um before its next leg. But Kitsu is the dog for Vlad. And this was like posted on Vlad's account. So, in normal meme style fashion, we're going to tokenize any and every meme that Vlad has ever done. He's now turning into the new CZ, the new Ansem, the new Elon Musk, where they have motion on the timeline and things that they say can be tokenized and memeified. And so, very, very probably a positive EV to, pay attention to when Vlad posts something on and keep an eye out for the Robinhood the Robinhood launches. But Kitsu is his dog. I don't know if you guys know about like Elon's pets. If you talked about CZ's pets, when you look at like Tolly's pets, Ansem's cat, like a lot of these things tend to run. So that's why I'm kind of putting it on your radar. What else? RWA looks pretty good as well. Obviously, RWA, literally, he said it yesterday. RWA is what their chain is being built for, right? So, price action and everything looks good, but I think this also has probably another leg. Honestly, not even another leg. This has, this can rock it, in my opinion. This looks good. Let's see. Stonks is another one that's pretty adjacent with the overall theme of Robinhood. Like they're giving retail access to stocks, commonly referred to as stonks. So, obviously, I think that looks like a good one as well. Lady Marion is the first meme on Robinhood. This one pulled back a lot last week for whatever reason. But this was when everyone was like, "Oh, Robinhood is dead. See, I told you so." Blah 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 blah. But now look at it. It went to like 2 mil, maybe even a little bit more than that. Juggernaut. This was another like tweet that's being memeified. So yeah, still looking at this one. Really, what I like to do for now on Robinhood is not really hunt the new launches as much. But basically, I go to age. You look at 24-day age, and you just look at what are the OG memes on this chain, right? A lot of them have pumped already, right? Obviously, you see, oh shoot, AMC. I didn't see this at first. AMC might actually be a good one. Same thing with GME, right? Like, oh wow, look at that. Same thing with GME. GME was like a really good one. And that one was, oh wow, was it launched? Before? Let's turn profile on real quick. Yeah. So GME here, yeah. So it's launched around the same time, but obviously you see GME, right? We call this one in the Discord. We're looking at it at 116K that was scanned, and that hit 8 mil. So that was really solid. But you know, GME is kind of same vibes as Stonks, same vibes as AMC in terms of being very adjacent, and it makes sense with the overall narrative around Robinhood. Okay. So yeah, RWA, AMC, Stonks, GME, Kitsu looks good. Obviously, like the main ones as well, right? Like the main ones as well. Cash Cat, Tendies, DIH is one that I see a lot. That's one that I see a lot, but when it first when it first got launched, it like dumped off like super heavy. Along with the rest of the eco, and then it just bang. It's like boom, it's just been up and up since. So Dog in Hood, you know, obviously RobinHood. It's gonna be a lot of hooded memes that come out, and I'm sure a few of them will will do pretty well. I think DIH might be one of them. But yeah, just monitor the setups, man. There's gonna be a ton of these setups. Let me add AMC as well to this. It's gonna be a ton of setups to monitor. And you know, at a certain point, it's not about like, you know, when it's at a certain market cap, just monitor. I won't even say that. I'll just say just monitor these charts, look at ones that give you an entry, and just buy based on what you feel like is undervalued. You know what I mean? It's a new ecosystem. There's going to be a ton of like fresh liquidity that comes in. There are people now that are still trying to figure out, how do I bridge to Robinhood? I think the local top will probably be in when we see FOMO integrate Robinhood. That'll be likely like, you know, a full-on dip where we can size in if we really have conviction, which we do in the which I do at least in the Robinhood chain. But yeah, man, Robinhood is looking good. If there's anything that you guys want me to cover, just let me know. Last couple things I wanted to talk with you guys about was Pump Fund. Robinhood tokens are now available to trade on the Pump Fund app. No bridging, trade seamlessly in Sol. Trade everything trending Robinhood token. Never miss out, no matter the meta. Only on the Pump Fund app. So looks like Pump Fund wants to get involved in the action here in terms of all of the Robinhood craze. Looking good. Let's see. What other piece of news do we have? There was some other stuff I did want to talk to you guys about. Just some metrics, right? Here's I mentioned earlier today, Adam on Tech. He's the one that kind of covers a lot of the on-chain metrics and stuff like that. Here's one of the metrics that he showed. Noxa.fund. This was also the platform that I shared with you guys a couple weeks back in the Discord. Noxa is basically the pump fund for Robinhood. And you know, we're seeing like a ton of traders flow in to into the platform. So obviously that's picking up really well. You've obviously seen this tweet by Vlad: while we're building Robinhood chain to be the best chain for RWA, it works great for memes too. So obviously, you know, you got all the crypto OGs, come out and actually support this. So I think that's I think that's what I think, bro. Like, I don't think Robinhood is done. I don't think they're done. If you go to Adam on Tech, his Twitter, he also has the full Robinhood dashboard linked there. This was the DEX volume that I showed in my tweet earlier. Obviously, that's spiking here this week. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover with you guys. Anything else that you guys want to get into, let me know. Chill, have you come across any thesis on Argonaut? Been reading up on it and gets me excited to dig deeper. Argonaut, I don't think I've I don't even think I've heard of Argonaut before. Let's see, Argonaut. God, I'm so scared to search stuff on Twitter. Yeah, let me let me just flip to this real quick. Argonaut. Let's see. I don't think I see anything. Like send me, let's talk about it in Discord. Oh, Argonaut. Oh, Argon Protocol. Argon Protocol. Let's see. Argon Protocol. I don't see anything on Twitter, at least. I see something on ETH, maybe. Yeah, I don't think I see anything on ETH, bro. Send it to me through the Discord. Hit me hit me up in the general chat in the Discord, and yeah, hit me with the general chat in Discord. Let's talk about it more there. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I had to cover with you guys today. I mean, it's been a fantastic week on Robinhood. So just keep grinding, keeping an eye out for opportunities. Just show up here every single day, and likely there's going to be some opportunity that you get to take advantage of. But outside of that, boys, man, YouTube commenter neglected. Where did I neglect you at, bro? I did. This was the last comment that you had, was, do you see the YouTube chat? And we talked. We said, yeah, bro, I see the chat. We vibed out for a second. But then you're saying that the YouTube commenter was neglected. How? I didn't see another comment, bro. Let me know. Let me know if there's something in particular that you commented that you want me to talk more about. I got you, if anything, bro. Don't even worry about it. I guess YouTube doesn't show comments. Really? No way. We see all the we see all of the YouTube comments. Like let me show you. Let me show you actually real quick. Let's do that. Here's the comment section. Here's the comment section. Bang, bang. You see the comment section there? That's the last couple of things that I see in the comment section from you. But check voice box. Let's see. I think we're going to have voice box on. We're trying to get them onto the stream, if I'm not mistaken. We got them on the stream. We got them on the schedule. Let me check. Let me check for you. Yeah, we have voice box on the schedule. Maybe not for this week, but I believe for next week. Yeah, so we'll actually have an interview on VoiceBox coming up here soon. So stay tuned for that. I guess YT removes when you put tickers. That's why my comments don't show. Really? Ave watches us from YouTube, and he normally gets to put tickers. But anywho, yeah, we're in touch with VoiceBox. Some of the guys in the Discord, I believe they have also pinged us on VoiceBox. So we checked it out. Should be coming up on MCG here soon. Last thing I wanted to cover with you guys is we have the LP Army Academy crash course coming up this Saturday at 11 a.m. July 11th, just coming up in a couple of days. We'll post a link out probably in our Discord. We'll probably get this clipped up as well. But as you guys know, DLMing, or as I like to affectionately call it, DLimming, is a very powerful way to trade on chain. Basically, you're market making and earning a part of your fees. So you're essentially juicing your reward. So you're not just making gains in terms of the trades, but you're also making gains in terms of the fees that you're able to farm using the Meteora DLMM technology. So really good. They have a crash course coming up here July 11th. It's honestly not that hard to pick up. I think the hardest thing is switching your mindset from a buy and sell trader to a DLMMer. A little bit different, but very positive EV way to trade. And you also get to juice your returns, so you can earn even more in a good market. So go ahead and register. We'll put the link in the Discord. We'll put the link in a clip as well. But LP Army this Saturday, check them out. Thanks for checking. Yeah, of course. Anytime, bro. Anytime. Outside of that, I think that's all we got for today, fellas. I'm going to get gone. I got some stuff I got to take care of. I'll probably be in the Discord a little bit later, and I'll try to keep an eye on as much Robinhood stuff as I can for you guys. Outside of that, we appreciate y'all. Love you guys. See you guys on the timeline. See you in the Discord. Don't forget, go to @MCG Live. Make sure you're hitting the follow button. We're here Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. We just crossed 12,000 followers. We're closing in on 12.1K. So help us get there. I know it's the end of the stream, but still, go ahead and like and RT the stream. Even scroll down and like and RT this last post that we had about the Cash Cat call. Let everyone know that MCG is where the alpha is. That's where you get the alpha from. That's where we like to share the alpha. So we appreciate you guys. Love you guys. And we'll catch you in the next one tomorrow. See you at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Deuces.